Hara Mahara. Hello, everybody. AM 1230 WJOB and 104.7 FM, the voice and face of the region. I'm Jim Delo, host of JED in the region here on those radio stations, also streaming live in audio on the TuneIn app, and of course on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube video. You know, I say that word Facebook, but what's going to happen again to Facebook? They just keep getting hit more and more on their stock, and part of that is that there is new cry to do something about Facebook, and it is French, French President, no, French President Macron, as he is asked, is that how you say that? I've heard it, Macron, is it Macron or Macron? Well, anyways, Macron, Ikamolo, Macron. Anyways, Macron is saying that Facebook is too big, so is Google. They need to be broken up. And he is saying that there needs to be complete regulation of them within French borders. And that, well, the main thing is that the United States better regulate it before those American companies are in a heap of trouble. In Germany, they came up with a law that means that Facebook has to police hate speech or things that are knowingly not true and get them off, and they have to address these complaints and real quickly, and they have to have it all addressed within 24 hours, or they face like 5 million marks on a fine, and they're not happy about it. So I told you guys what the solution is for Facebook. Just make Facebook do all of the things that AM radio has to do, and then you have complete control of that medium. First of all, they got to get a license. Go get a license. And that means that you have to meet a whole bunch of criteria just so that you can use the internet. You know what I mean? That thing that just goes around there, their internet thing that, basically is used to, and, I guess mostly for porn. But other than that, you have fake news sites and you have pictures of, you have cat videos and all that kind of stuff. And then you have a license, right? So if you don't do something right, you have to go into the enforcement division. And the enforcement division can tell you that you have to conduct an investigation of yourself. You have to pay for that. If somebody, somebody goes in and writes down a form and they send it, they say, hey, these guys did something we didn't like. So then you got to go investigate it. You got to pay for that investigation. And if you lie on that, you can go to jail for 2 years. So that would be another thing that Facebook could do that we have to do here on AM radio. Swearing? What the? Well, if you said that on Facebook, then you could get a $10,000 fine, right? Oh, how about public issues programs? You got to run a certain amount of public issues programs. And then for every politician that appears on Facebook, you've got to fill out a form, and it's got to be done right, and you have to follow a whole bunch of election laws that you got to deal with. Don't you think if you did that, then Facebook would, it wouldn't be so big, and you could break it up right away. Same thing with Google. So if Google and Facebook just had to go by the same rules that AM radio did, we'd have it all fixed in a hurry. All right, what else is going on? The Loyola Ramblers went down on Saturday. That was a sad one, as Sister Jean is not going to play tonight. It's going to be Villanova and Michigan, and I'm excited. I don't know about you guys. Go home, take a nap just to be able to stay up for that baby. But Villanova plays Michigan. And did you read the paper on Saturday? There was a mild comparison between Sister Jean and Robert Cantrell out of, hey, what's up? Casey Jones, you better watch your speed. Trouble ahead, trouble behind. Hey, here comes, hey, thanks for peeping. Are you going to the Cecil B? He looks like he's driving that car to the Cecil B. Let's see. You know what that means. Come on. Very famous movie director, Cecil B. And then, what was I saying? Oh, yes. You see, Robert Cantrell was on the last time that, hey, what's up? Way to beep. Hey, man, there's all sorts of beepers today. You know what that means? Ironworkers Local 395 thanks you for beeping, and so do I. Robert Cantrell, I don't know what his what his middle is. East Chicago guy, 1960, East Chicago, Washington. He went to Michigan and he played for the Loyola Ramblers here in East Chicago, right up the street here. He was I think the point guard on the 1960 East Chicago Washington State Championship basketball team, and he won the Trester Award. I'm freezing my ass off out here, by the way. I hope that Facebook could say that when they get new rules. The temperature here on April 2nd of 2018. April 2nd, all right? We're in spring. Is 21 degrees right now, standing outside the Purdue Northwest Commercialization Center. You know what that makes you feel like? That makes you feel like, well, instead of talking in my normal voice, I feel like, oh, man, it's so cold out here. But, hey, you know what? We're all men here and some women, and let's just deal with it. So Robert Cantrell, I'm going to read that in the Times. Bill Dolan wrote a thing where he compared Sister Jean to Robert Cantrell, or at least mentioned them in the same sentence. What else is going on, huh? In your life, huh? Let's see. The President of the United States may have to testify under oath, or may choose to testify under oath in the Mueller investigation. Hey, what are you doing, Sun Chips? And we want to know, I was listening to a whole bunch of that over the 3 days that I was off. And by the way, thanks to Sam Michael, Jimmy Mullaney, and Ryan Walsh for taking over on Friday, as I was off on Good Friday. As I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, yes, he is going to, the president is going to have to, or may testify. And the ones that they're saying that his biggest opening or biggest problem could be when it comes to questions about women, and Stormy Daniels especially, and other women who are coming forth about the president. And if you ask me, I believe that, because it's just going crazy right now. Look at what's happening to Laura Ingraham. You guys seen that? Laura Ingram's going to be on. No, she's not going to be on today at 10. She's got a sub in. Hey, what's up? Laura is here on AM 1230, WJOB on 1047 at 10 o'clock. Normally, I think she's on vacation right now. But what's this kid's name? David Hogg, H-O-G-G. He is one of the survivors of the Parkland shootings. And Laura Ingraham tweeted out, Hogg said, hey, I didn't get into 4 colleges, even though I got a 4.1 GPA. La Carajana. And she tweeted out something kind of nasty about it. He's whining about it. Said he was whining about it. And makes sense that he didn't get in if you know how UCLA acceptance rates are right now. And I understand that. It's actually probably true. But he went after her and said, here's the 12 top advertisers. Go after them for Laura Ingraham. Well, it turns out 17 now have dissed her. I don't know how many she had, but 17 are now off. And we'll see what happens with that show. I don't really know where that's headed. I know that we're contracted, that we have to run it under our contract, but I'm sure that, that's kind of why they do it that way. Now, sometimes the sponsors are contracted also, but they may have clauses to get out of that for situations like this. And I don't know why that radio stations aren't that smart, but Laura Ingraham, her show or some semblance of it will be on at 10 today. So what else is going on? I'll tell you what. I'm going to go inside. I got it all laid out. Billy Baker's going to join me. So it's just you and me hanging out. I think Ryan or Jimmy Mullaney will join us for some sports. But I can hear what you guys want to talk about. 219-845-1100. I'm wide open. I was gone on Friday. What are we gearing up? Are we starting to gear up for the elections coming our way? Is it, do we get a break? Is it maybe a little break? I feel a little break coming. Like right now, I'm going to walk outside here on the middle of Indianapolis Boulevard, look to the north, look to the south, look to the east, look to the west. And there's nobody coming. Right now, once in a while, I just get a little break. I do want to say one thing. that in all seriousness and in all sadness, I'll probably be out at least 1, if not 2 days this week, as my grandmother of 98 years old passed away on Saturday morning. So we're going to have the wake from 4 to 8 somewhere in Maryville on Wednesday. So Jean Podkol, Sokol, Brown, Matson, she outlived 3 husbands and 3 children. She passed away quietly right around 6 o'clock on Saturday morning. So I'll talk a little bit about that. All right, guys, I'm going to go inside, just partly because I want to get in there and get the show rolling. But thanks a lot to the Ironworkers Local 395 for sponsoring me coming out here in the morning. And thanks to Hassey Construction for sponsoring all the sports and giving me this excellent safety material. But most of all, thanks for you for getting up and go to work at the Cecil B or wherever else you work. And for if you're laying in bed nice and toasty, for rolling over and putting me on your nightstand, I appreciate that. All right, guys, I'm Jim Deedlow, AM 1230, WJOB 104.7 FM, Hammond, Indiana, the voice and face of the region.
Eduardo's Natural Pizza in Munster has built a reputation for serving the finest Chicago-style stuffed pizza, loaded with fresh and natural ingredients. Not interested in stuffed pizza? Eduardo's has the best thin crust pizza, appetizers, salads, pastas, and more. Pick up a half-baked pizza from Eduardo's to take home and bake at your convenience. It's the perfect solution for those hectic nights. Eduardo's is located at 7920 Calumet Avenue in Munster. Dine in or carry out by calling 836-2010.
At Corellis Roofing, our motto is, above all, a good roof. The workers here at Corellis Roofing are some of the highest trained and qualified roofing mechanics that our industry has to offer. And I'm glad that they've chosen Corellis Roofing for their careers. I would like Corellis Roofing to be thought of in the community as the roofing contractor of choice for our customers. Corellis Roofing is a proud member of the Northwest Indiana community.
I want to be like the pretty people on my TV.
Now you can.
All I need are gleaming white teeth.
We can help you.
Can you find the right dentist for me?
Dr. Randy Coulteritis, he does cosmetic dental.
Will he hurt me?
No, he's gentle.
I'm terrified of pain.
He's the kindest in the land.
He sounds great. Could you repeat his name?
Dr. Andy Coulteritis, 219-836-1111.
Thanks.
If you've been arrested or convicted of a crime in the state of Indiana, listen up. You need legal counsel. Doesn't it make sense to call an attorney who not only knows the law, but who knows the system? I'm Nicole Bennett, a former deputy Lake County prosecutor. I do know the system and how to help you with your criminal case. From traffic tickets to cleaning up your driving record to obtaining specialized drug privileges under the new 2015 Indiana law and misdemeanor and felony charges. And as many of you have experienced, I can even have your criminal record erased. Call me at Westland and Bennett in Cherville, 219-440-7550. Again, 219-440-7550.
Rush Radiosurgery deploys revolutionary technology in the fight against prostate cancer in just 5 outpatient treatments. With radiosurgery treatment for prostate cancer, there is no pain, no surgery, and you can go back to your normal activities right after treatment. Prostate cancer does not fight fair, and neither should you. For more information, contact Rush Radiosurgery at 312-942-4600 or visit us at rushradiosurgery.com.
No case is typical. Results will vary by patient, and there's no guarantee other patients will experience these results.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? AM 1230, WJOB on 104.7. I'm Jim Deedlow. Cold Monday morning, 5:54. What time is it? Time to go to Albert's. It's also time to check the weather. Man, they're saying it's 17 degrees right here at the Strachan Van Til Studios, and I got to tell you, I'm going to take it as at their word on AccuWeather because, man, it's chilly out right now. And all you have to do is walk outside and feel it. 17 degrees here at the Strachan Van Til Studios. It's 20 degrees in Porter County at Local 395 and 19 in Highland. And or it's 19 and 17 degrees in Highland, 19 here in Hammond. You know what? The sun, it should be a pretty sunrise, pretty yellow, bright sunrise out to the east. Then it should go up to 45, some sun, and then it gets cloudy and gets cold again tomorrow. Tomorrow, I have around 50 that should actually work out okay. Periods of rain, though, and it'll be kind of a rainy day tomorrow. Then Wednesday, how's this? Clouds and sun and a high of 38. And then on Wednesday night into Thursday, it gets down into the low 20s. And same thing on Thursday into Friday. By Friday, you get a high of 31. And then you get overnight, you get into the teens. So I'll tell you what, man, it feels like midwinter right now. We've just can't. I'm glad I'm not coaching high school softball or baseball, but I'm probably announcing a game or two here this week, huh? No, they don't play it all this weekend. Good. I'll wait till it gets to be 18 degrees, which is the low on Friday. Then I'll take that game. How's that sound? Hey, by the way, next time we see 60 degrees, not 70 or 80, 60 degrees is April 18th. And the next projected 70, and that 18th is a rainy. The next projected 70-degree day is May 1st. How's that feel? So 1 month from today, you might get 70 degrees. And then watch. It'll go right into May, and then it'll be hotter than for like May 15th all the way out. It'll be like 85 degrees and muggy the whole time. How's that feel for a positive outlook on life, huh? All right, there you go with some weather that's brought to you by Laborers Local 41, of which I'm a proud alum. And looking at traffic, 294 around the city looks good. 80 going east and west looks good to Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan, Skyway, Toro, Borman, I-65, US 30, and Klein Avenue are all moving along pretty well. If you have any traffic, we do it by committee. All you have to is call or text to 219-845-1100. Any word on what time they're closing the Indianapolis Boulevard Bridge today? We just know it's today is what it was projected, right? It's supposed to be this morning, yes. And there's also a closure on Calumet Avenue. Can you remind me exactly where that is? That's in Hammond. Here we go. They're setting up lane closures right now. Arrow board is blocking the right lane already. Now, is that northbound or southbound? So what we're talking about is what could bring us one of the worst traffic nightmares in a while, and it is scheduled to last through November, and that is US 41 in Highland on the big bridge between 45th and Main Street. That is the one that right by Borders, if you remember where Borders was, right that goes into Myers. And the other side is Webb Ford and Bozak Honda. So on one side is Bozak Honda and Webb Ford, and then you go over the big bridge, and then there's all that mall stuff. You can even see from the top of the mall, you can see all the way down to Albert's Jewelers. You got, what else is Nordstrom's over there, Old Navy, Target. I mean, everything's going to, gosh. Is anybody getting anxiety just thinking about this? A little bit. Ryan drives that all the time to go to Planet Fitness, don't you? You're going to have to find, Ryan, if you were going there now, I'd come over here and I'd take Calumet all the way there. You know what I mean? Calumet Avenue will be one lane between Sibley and Michigan for how long? Till November? There you go. How's that feel? Good morning. How are you? Life is good in the Calumet region. I know that you're pretty excited about being 17 degrees here at the Strag Van Til Studios. I'm sure you were pretty excited to hear from me that by May 1st, we'll get to 70 degrees. By April 18th, we'll get to 60. And you're probably pretty excited to hear that it's going to rain tonight. But most of all, it has just really warmed your heart to know that Indianapolis Boulevard is going to go down to one lane, and you're going to get caught in it, depending where you live, anywhere from 1 to 100 times or 200 times. How's that feel? All right, let's see how Ramone's doing. Hey, Ramon, how you been, man?
I'm all right. I give you my condolences for that's your grandmother.
Yeah, 98 years old, man. She put some time on this earth, that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah, she was a good woman. Good kind of crazy woman, you know what I mean?
Right. That's the one who used to drink still, eh?
Yeah. We just did her 98th birthday not too long ago, and she, she was fine, and then it just kind of took a turn right at the end, man. It was kind of weird. It just went quickly, And,
right.
And she fell asleep, so just a full life lived in the region. But thank you.
And she's in a better place.
Yeah, she's got some people to see up there, that's for sure.
Right. Because I'm talking about with this Russia shooting missiles off, testing. First we had North Korea, now we got Russia. What's going on? Was they threatening us or something? Is it finally going to happen?
You know, when you were on, what grade school did you go to?
Ambridge.
Oh, you went to Ambridge. Okay. That's not,
Yeah.
now, when did that close?
Oh, man.
That was a long time ago, right?
My son went there.
Oh, really?
I think in the 80s, I think.
Yeah, so
90s, somewhere in there.
yeah, somewhere in the 90s, I think. Ambridge
But
closed
that
it.
school,
Remember,
I went there. I was the first black person in there.
you were the first.
lived
You
around
were the
there.
first black person at Ambridge. Ambridge,
Yep.
really?
First black person.
How'd they treat? How'd they treat you?
Oh, it was cool. But some of the teachers had a problem. The kids, because I knew how to do a lot of stuff. You know, we was cool.
Do you remember
Yeah, I
any? Do
played
you remember any?
baseball, hockey.
Do you remember any bullies on the playground?
No, they didn't bully me. No. It was some, but they cut that out, you know, when I got there. Because everybody hung around me because I knew I played baseball good, softball, kickball, what you call that, strikeout. Then we had, when you throw the ball, dodgeball. So it was this one dude, I think his name was Chris. And he was kind of bigger than everybody, but he cut that out, you know, because he couldn't control me. I was too fast, and I was too active, you know. So we mess with them little dudes. I used to be looking at them, you know, and I was like, why? That's all I had to do is say why. But I didn't bully nobody. I just wanted to have fun, you know, because it was a different thing coming from a minority neighborhood to over there, you know. It was something different because a lot of them dudes taught me how to go through the woods and stuff. You know, wasn't too many woods in the hood, you know. It was just concrete jungle. I learned how to go to the woods down to the Calumet River, through the cattails, all the way to the edge of the river, you know. Like that Tom Sawyer stuff. I told you that a long time ago, man.
You know what it seems to me now with all these missiles and all these big egos, it seems to me like a grade school playground. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you got to learn how to maneuver your way so that you're not the bully, and that also so you don't get bullied, and that everybody kind of gets along and plays the game of kickball or dodgeball or even basketball, whatever it might be, on the playground so it can all go forward. But if some people start getting out of line and just really kind of want to mess with other people, then what happens to the balance of all of it? And that's kind of what it seems to me when you ask about Russia and North Korea. Everybody's just kind of showing how tough they are right now.
Right. They ought to need Vince McMahon ought to get them all in the ring for what's that called? WrestleMania. And then they'll sell a lot of tickets. I like to see them dudes get in there and let them go at it, you know. But when they shooting these missiles off the top, saying it can hit the United States, he said it can go so far north pole all the way south pole. So he's saying that he could shoot this thing, and they said it can destroy the whole state of Texas. I'm like, what is wrong with these people? I don't get it, you know. I don't understand it. And then North Korea was shooting missiles off. China ain't saying nothing. And then I don't get it, you know. So I've come to the realization: do they got nuclear capabilities on the continent of Africa? I'm asking. I don't
think
really know.
so, but I was looking at it last night, and Russia and us kind of going at it a little bit. They have 7,000 nuclear bombs. 7,000 nuclear bombs, and crazy. That's crazy, man.
And this one missile that they shoot can hold 16 warheads.
Yep. So hey, don't sleep. I mean, sleep well at night, because when it hits, It's just basically over. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is you ain't no need to worry about it because they start shooting, and you can't worry about it if you go crazy.
You got it.
But the main thing I'm getting at is that I don't understand. I think they just doing that to. I don't know. It's crazy. I don't understand. But then he take this DACA thing through out. Now they got these people marching from South America all the way through Mexico and come up to the border and say they're gonna cross it. Did you hear about that?
Yeah. It's crazy. You know what? I don't even want to talk about DACA yet. I got so much stuff to talk about. We got a lot of basketball. Who's going to win tonight?
One.
Villanova, Michigan. I got so much. I don't even want to talk about. I don't want to talk about DACA. It's too much.
Right. I got to go with Michigan.
All right. Same here. So 2 Michigans right now. It's Ramon and JED, and I'm going to go Michigan wins this thing by 8. All right.
Well, I knew Jalen Rose and
Howard.
I forget. No, with Juwan Howard came to my niece. I've been to him,
Juwan Howard, Jalen Rose, Chris Webber. Who were the other 2?
Right.
Jimmy King.
It was Derek Coleman. Derek Coleman. See, I got cousins in Detroit. They live down the block. Derek Coleman here. Jalen Rose lived by my other cousins by Highland Park.
Well, you got a lot of cousins, don't you? All right, Ramon. I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna get some news done, but don't worry about the Russians. They're not gonna do anything today.
Oh no, I ain't worried about it. I'm going to Africa. Where the Holy Grail at? Ethiopia got that. What's the thing called? The Ark of the Covenant.
The Ark of the Covenant and the Fountain of Youth. All right, man.
Right, that's where I'm going.
All right, good hearing from you this morning. Talk to you.
All right.
See you. 6:07 in the Calumet region. Charlie, what are you going to do today?
I'm going to sleep in bed today.
Well, all day or what?
All day.
Yeah. How's Trump doing?
He's doing good. So, how you doing? He's going to blow some missiles off.
It sounds like it. Who do you think's going to be the first one to throw the missiles, huh?
Russia.
Russia?
What do you think?
You know what? This is one topic I tend to not think about because we don't have any control over it. You know what I mean?
So how you doing?
All right, how you doing?
What's new with you? How's Johnny and Steve doing?
You know what? They're doing real well.
When do you going to have them on?
I don't know. Are you going to set it up for us?
I don't know why you will. So what's new with you?
I don't know. What's new with you?
You go to church the other day?
Yeah, I went into the church. How'd you go to church?
I prayed.
You prayed? Okay.
Yeah,
good.
So what's new with you?
Not too much. All right, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what's new with me today by going through all of the news.
How's Safety Steve doing?
He's doing all right. He's going to get up for his run in about an hour.
How's Dave doing?
He's going to get up and lift some weights here in a little bit.
How's everybody doing? And how's everybody doing?
Hosanna in the highest, man. Everybody's doing well. All right, Charlie, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told Ramon. I got to do a little bit of news here. Okay, so I'll see you later, buddy. Hey, let's take a look at some stuff that's going on. Did you guys hear this one? And typically I want to talk about stuff that's going on here, but this is kind of crazy. And that is the situation with that family that was from Washington. They're saying that it might have been an intentional crash, and an SUV carrying a large, free-spirited family from Washington State accelerated straight off a scenic California cliff, and authorities said the deadly wreck may have been intentional. Information pulled from the vehicle's software shows it was stopped at a flat dirt pull-off area before it sped off the steep rocky face and plunged 100 feet. So the electronic information combined with the lack of skid marks or signs the driver braked led authorities to believe the crash was purposeful. 5 members of the Hart family were found dead. The search continued for 3 more children believed to have been in the vehicle when it went over a coastal overlook and landed on rocks. The missing children may have been washed out to sea. This specific location is very difficult to search because the ocean currents and tides are strong, unpredictable, and the murkiness of the water makes it difficult to see. Authorities don't know exactly when the wreck took place. A passing motorist discovered the vehicle on March 26th, 3 days after social service authorities in Washington opened an investigation, apparently prompted by a neighbor's complaint that the children were being deprived of food. So kind of a weird situation. Sarah Hart, the mom, 30, pleaded guilty to a domestic assault charge in Douglas County, Minnesota, telling authorities she let her anger get out of control while spanking her 6-year-old daughter. The two women, both 38, were found dead inside the SUV, while 3 of their children were discovered outside the vehicle. So, wow. I don't know what you do with that one. That kind of makes you just go, what are you talking about? You mean you drove off that cliff on purpose? How about the China trade war? We can talk about that. But really what I want to talk about is, and I'm sorry, I put a piece of this tangerine in my mouth, and I want to talk about the game tonight, Michigan and Villanova. And here's why. According to the Times and Bill Dolan, here's what the article on Saturday had to say. Robert Cantrell put into a new light. Many of you know Bobby Cantrell, Robert Cantrell, as the political operative out of East Chicago. He spent a little time at camp, and now he's back and reportedly kind of still meddling in local politics. Sister Jean has put the Loyola Chicago basketball team on her shoulders and carried them all the way to the Final Four. But lo and behold, the Loyola Ramblers will face a University of Michigan team Saturday with their own graying inspirational figure. None other than East Chicago's Robert Cantrell. Cantrell, 76 years old, is best known these days as a political operative. But Cantrell said he has a photograph of the Wolverines team carrying him off the floor as their hero following Michigan's 84-80 victory over Loyola in 1964. It was a great game, Cantrell said. Sister Jean Dolores Schmidt, the Loyola team's 98-year-old chaplain, has become an overnight sensation as her team has risen from the NCAA also-ran category to within 2 games of a national championship. But Loyola has won it all before, 1963, and then they lost in 1964 to Michigan, and ostensibly Loyola could have had back-to-backs other than the work of the great inspirational figure Robert Cantrell. And what else does it say here? It says, Pat Gabrioni, the ranking Republican on the Lake County election staff, remembers he had just graduated from Loyola and followed his Ramblers that national championship year with high hopes for the following season. We had lost our best player, Jerry Harkness, to the NBA, but we were still strong coming back into the next season and thought we had a chance to win it. So did Cantrell, who was Michigan's team captain that year. If Loyola had gotten past us, they might have won it again, Cantrell said. Cantrell came to Michigan on a scholarship on the strength of his performance with East Chicago Washington High School in 1960 state champion basketball team. He won the Trester Award for excellence in mental attitude, and he went from shooting guard to point guard in 1970, 63, 64, when Michigan recruited Cazzie Russell, the future All-American and NBA star. So there it is. So congratulations to the inspirational figure Robert Cantrell. I'm sure he'll be rooting on his Michigan Wolverines. I wonder if he's going to get any national coverage like his counterpart, Sister Jean Dolores Schmidt. I'll be right back on the voice and face of the region.
What gets you fired up when you think about college? Explore your roar at Purdue University Northwest. With 2 exciting campuses in Hammond and Westville, more than 70 areas of study, and NCAA Division II athletics, Purdue Northwest offers it all at an excellent value. Learn more at pnw.edu and apply today. That's pnw.edu. Join the pride at Purdue Northwest.
Fill your garage with your dream car during the Honda Dream Garage Spring event going on now at Napleton's River Oaks Honda. They're Northwest Indiana's destination for new and certified pre-owned Hondas. Napleton's River Oaks Honda has a huge selection of brand new and certified pre-owned Civics, Accords, CRVs, and Pilots. Come find out why you always get our best deal at River Oaks Honda. As always, Indiana residents pay Indiana sales tax right off 8094 on Torrance Avenue or online at riveroakshonda.com.
Napleton, second to none since 1931.
Ironworkers Local 395, through their contractor employers, the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association, are the workers you see building Northwest Indiana. They are the craftsmen building your schools, hospitals, malls, steel mills, and manufacturing plants. They support local charities, including Tradewinds and Chasing Dreams, and they coach your kids after work and on the weekend. They live, work, and contribute to all of our local communities' economic growth. To find out more about these organizations, visit ironworkers395.com or nwicontractors.org.
Knock, knock.
You know, I enjoy...
Who's there? Johnny who? Johnny's Tap. I'm sorry I played that. I was going into getting out of the break. Finished up this Tangerine and want to tell you about traffic. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan, Skyway Toll Road, Borman, I-65 are all moving along pretty well. Traffic brought to you by Napleton River Oaks Honda. We just heard from them. And then what do you have in terms of the weather? It is cold out. It is a cold. The day of her death was a dark, cold day. Let's see, today a high of 45, but right now it is 17 degrees. Let's call it 18 degrees here at the Strachan Van Til Studios on the campus of Purdue Northwest. And it's going to be a cold week, man. We get up to 50 tomorrow, but it's supposed to be rainy by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You get highs in the upper 30s, and then you get down into the teens on Friday night. So how does that feel? Knock, knock, who's there? And it is cold out. I went outside courtesy of Ironworkers Local 395, and I'm not taking this jacket on. You know why? Because jacket on, jacket off, what's the difference? Still a little cold at this time, you know what I mean? Good enough on that. Weather brought to you by our good friends at Laborers Local 41, of which I am a proud alum of that fine union. What about the markets going into the days open here on April 2nd of 2018? Man, how's it just get this cold in spring? Spring started, 2 weeks ago, and here we go. The Dow should open up down about 100 points. Right around a little over 24,000 after being up and down all week long last time. Well, I told you guys a very sad occasion on Saturday morning. You guys have heard, some of you longtime listeners have heard here on the radio as my grandma, my 98-year-old grandma, had appeared with me in the past on the radio. I hadn't done it in a couple of years, but she was a fan favorite. She passed away around 6 o'clock on Saturday morning. And she was just flat out old at 98 degrees, outlived 3 husbands, outlived 3 children, including my mom, who died almost 30 years ago, and other ones. And basically, Grandma was able to soldier through. And here to talk about it, I think, is Phyllis. Phyllis, how you holding up over there, huh?
Oh, those pictures.
Oh, you saw the pictures? Wait,
yeah,
Danny posted a bunch of pictures this morning?
No, I seen the one Saturday of Alexis and Aunt Jean, and I'll tell you, she reminded me of my dad so much, and that picture was unbelievable.
Yeah, Danny, we were up last night. He was, I guess, they put that montage for the funeral home, and he was, kind of on us for some pictures. So I had to get them all from all my brothers and sisters. And, man, these pictures were coming out of the woodwork. And then I'm looking at my grandma at, like, 45 years old, and I'm like, no wonder why she could get a husband with, just by snapping her fingers, man. I'm like, is it okay to look at your grandma from 50 years ago and say, man, she was kind of hot? I don't think that's right. What's
the
that?
obituary picture that'll take your breath away.
Yeah.
Her and Nancy Irene could have been twins in that picture.
Yeah, so kind of hot Polish girls from Frogsville.
You got it.
No wonder why they were able to. No wonder my Irene and my mom were able to go over here and get some of these two rich Dutch German guys out of Hessville. You know what I mean?
There you go. And then she made it to Grandma Putko's birthday party. Happy birthday, Grandma, today.
It was today? I thought it was April 3rd.
Yeah. No, April 2nd.
So somebody was asking me now, there's just a little bit of history here. I guess that has to do with the station and the region. My Grandma Putko had the house at the corner of Michigan / Carroll, and was that Bering? Or is it? Yeah, Bering, Michigan and Bering. And my grandma and everybody lived in the same area, including Phyllis, and that's kind of where I spent my summers in Frogsville and Roxana. But Grandma Putko lived to the ripe old age of what? And my wife was asking me, was it 93?
Grandma, 91.
91, all right. So she was 91, and her daughter made it to 98. And
unbelievable.
And Alexis was asking me all of the kids, and I counted 8 kids. Is that right?
Now you're making me think.
No, listen. All right, here we're gonna do this, okay? Because it's region history, all right. So Grandpa Putko come to Frogsville in, I don't know, 1910, I think. And they come to 1910. They get married. So it's Mary Putko and Grandpa Putko. And then Zsa. What's that?
Yeah, there you go.
Zsa.
Casimir,
that's what it was. Casimir.
Yep.
Casimir. I couldn't think of it. Alexa's like, well, what was his name? I go, it was Zsa. I don't know.
Yeah, that's all we knew him.
Yeah, I don't know what his first name. Casimir? Are you kidding? I didn't know that. Man, if I had a boy, I would have named him Casimir. Hey, listen. All right, so here we go. So they have 3 boys, Eddie, Chester, and Johnny, correct?
Correct. Yep.
And then they have 3 daughters, and then my grandma who just died, Grandma Jean, you got Lucille, you got Irene, you got Evelyn, and you got Mary. And there's, who else am I missing? There's one more daughter, right? No, 5 daughters and 3 sons. So
right, there's 8. Yeah.
So, still alive is Mary Dabrowski, who is on her way to 6:30 Mass right now at St. Stan's. And then Aunt Irene, who doesn't make it up to her home parish of St. Joe's in downtown Hammond. But doesn't she go to somewhere in Lowell, or where does she go? St. Edwards or what?
Yes, I know she does. She does go somewhere out there where I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, she goes to St. Edwards because she's out in Lake Dale. So I got to say that only 2 of the 8 are still alive. Is that correct?
Correct. Right.
So to further illustrate this for you folks, my grandmother has 3 different husbands. She marries Carl Sokol, and then she marries Howard Brown, and then she marries Einar Madsen. But she has 5 children, and by 2 different husbands, and she has outlived 3 of the 5 children. My Uncle Dennis, my mom, Jeannie, and my Uncle Carl Brown, who used to be on the town council out in St. John. And remember, you'd go over to his pool parties, and they would just talk St. John politics, and they were nasty about it, man. And I don't think anything's changed, to be honest with you.
No, never will. Not when it comes to politics.
So here's what happens, Cousin Phyllis. I knew you were going to call me because you didn't call me over the weekend. Everybody just kind of just digested what was going on. And it's not that, when somebody's 98 years old and you're like, all right, they died and, it's kind of a good life and a good run. What it does is it reminds you of all the people who have died before her.
Correct.
Yes, and that's why you're having a tough time.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll tell
There
you.
was another reason why I was calling you.
What was it?
I sure hope that tonight's game, the two announcers are not the same ones, because I wouldn't be able to digest that game. At this point, I don't really give a rat's tail who wins, but to have two biased announcers that they had, it was terrible.
Okay, now I just want to get a little more clarity here. What channel did you watch the game on?
Let me think. I was flipping.
Well, because here's why. Here's how they do it for the Final Four. They have like you were watching the Loyola Michigan game, right?
Right.
And if you watch TBS, they had what was known as the Loyola announcers. And then if you watched True, I think it was, or TNT, if you watched TNT,
that's what I watched.
They had the Michigan announcers. And then if you watch CBS, they had the ones right down the middle. Yeah, so there were three feeds, right? Yeah. So you stumbled on the Michigan announcers, and it was just driving you crazy, huh?
You have no idea. But I sure hope that they're in between tonight.
All right. Well, hold on. Ryan's going to get us a listing of which channels to watch the Michigan feed and which one to watch the Villanova feed, okay? You got True, TNT, or TBS, and we're going to get it. So that's what it was. You had the wrong feed on.
Oh, man. Just to Phyllis, you're going to have a heart attack.
Who you for tonight?
Take a guess. If I flip the wrong channel.
You're for Michigan.
No.
Why? What's wrong with Michigan?
No.
They're close.
No. So?
Villanova, Catholic school. Is that why you're going for Villanova?
You know what? Anybody but Michigan. Sorry. Never did care for them.
All right, so we've got Jed and Ramon are on the Michigan side, and Cousin Phyllis is on the Villanova side. All right, well, I'm going to be seeing you.
Have a lot of Michigan folks. You know, they want the favorite, whatever.
All right, watch True TV, okay? Ryan just gave it to me. True TV will have the Villanova
Thank
call.
God for Ryan, because he's about the only one. You better depend on him. He's a good kid.
I am. All right, well, hey, come see me or whatever, but I will see you Wednesday, and we'll have some laughs.
We need them.
You got it. Thanks a lot, Cousin
care.
Phyllis.
Bye.
There it is. Yeah, I had a feeling she was having trouble. Went and saw my grandmother a couple weeks ago, and she was in and out of understanding who I am. I was the oldest of many grandchildren, and she would come over, and my mom was kind of bewildered at having 5 kids, including 3 sons that were relatively undisciplined. My dad worked all the time, so my grandma would come all the time and help my mom clean the house. And my buddies had a, we're trying to like smoke weed and do stupid stuff of the 70s and the late 70s. And my grandma would always be around, and they would go out in the back and thinking nobody was home except, no adults. And they'd come down in the laundry room, and there would be grandma. And she was always around, and she always kind of knew what was going on. She didn't mind. She just didn't like to be hoodwinked, like we thought we were sneaking stuff on her. But she came one time. I was having a party. I must say, they don't really do this anymore, but at a certain age, you could have parties at your house back in the day, and nobody would bust you. And really, the kind of cops would know that it was going on there as long as it stayed under control. You don't do that anymore. They just bust the parties right away if you're drinking or smoking weed or whatever. And there was no music outside, so my buddies were grabbing the hi-fi, if you guys know what that is, big hi-fi, like 4 of them, and they were pulling it outside so that they could hear the music outside. Has he lost his mind? Is he yours or is he mine? And my grandma pulled up and was walking in at the same time, and it was one of the more, even in the distress that it caused me in the hours antecedent to that, it was still one of the funnier moments of my life to see Jeff Myers at about 6'3", looking down at my 5'1" grandmother, and her waving a finger in his face and telling him to put the hi-fi back where it belonged in the front room. But anyways, so yes, it is. I know that many relatives are listening today, and I'm going to hoist my tea right now to my grandma, who died at the age of 98. And any relatives want to call in, you got all week to do that. And I think what we're going to do, just to kind of mess with some people, I think tomorrow or Wednesday, maybe I'll do it on Wednesday when it's my grandma's wake and funeral. It's going to be from 4 to 8 p.m. at Kell Park in Maryville on Wednesday. So I probably take Thursday off because my brother's coming into town, and he's bad news, even though he's a doctor. And my sister may come into town, and she can also have fun. So I don't want to put a lot of pressure on that. Now, the key would be anybody from St. John that knows these guys, Keith and Kevin Smith. Actually, they were motocross riders, and they were also state wrestlers for Lake Central, I don't know, back in the late 80s maybe. And but they were motocross riders, and MX, believe it or not, was their hero. He was a nationally known motocross rider. That goofball, yes, that one. And if Keith and Kevin Smith come into town, then Katie bar the door. I may not make it Friday, but I think I'm just going to not be there on Thursday. All right, guys, let's reset. AM 1230, WJOB, and Hammond, Indiana. And Ryan, who's this? It's Casey from Vegas? What are the odds today? You know what? Casey's got to wait. We're behind. Just tell him, hold on.
Been serving the area since 1947 and provides insurance for life, home, auto, business, and more. If you're looking for one-on-one service, the best rates, knowledge, and experience, Ogren Insurance is your agency. Our number one goal is to provide you with the coverage you need at the most competitive price. To learn about the insurance solutions and services we offer in Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or see our website, OgrenInsurance.com. Ogren Insurance, 6929 Holman Avenue in Hammond. Accidents happen. Be protected with Ogren Insurance.
Looking to advance your career? Earn a master's degree in technology online in just 18 months from Purdue University Northwest. Our graduates tell us their master's degree in technology, leadership, and management results in promotion and higher pay. Call Purdue Northwest at 219-989-2966. That's 219-989-2966 to get ahead today.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean Car Wash. Easy Clean is happy to announce their new location's grand opening at 1637 45th Street in Griffith. Open 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. Or stop by one of our 3 other locations in Highland, Cherville, and Lansing. Free vacuuming, carpet shampooer, air freshener, and towel with every wash. And it's fast, easy, convenient, safe, and gentle. Go to myeasyclean.com for more information.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? AM 1230, WJOB in Hammond, Indiana. I'm Jim Diedlow, host of JED and Region, hanging out with you guys. Beautiful sunrise coming our way, but I'll tell you what, it belies some major cold behind it. Right now here at the Strachan Van Til Studios, it is 18 degrees. It's going up to a high of, say, 45. Get some sun early, and then it clouds up, and then by tomorrow it's raining and a high of 50, kind of a nasty, rainy day tomorrow. And then it cools off. You get highs mostly in the upper 30s for the next 4 days through Saturday. So, and you get it down into the teens over the weekend. So good morning. It is just not getting warmer here. The next 60-degree day is projected to be April 18th. And the next 70-degree day is expected to be May 1st of 2018. That's a full month away. So good morning. How are you? May 1st is a Tuesday. So that's 4 weeks and 1 day away. So just do what you need to do, huh? And that is mostly freeze your ass off for another month. And weather is brought to you by our good friends at CertifiedElectrician.com. If you need electrical work done, have a union-based electrical contractor do it. And then in terms of the roadways, brought to you by Napleton River Oaks Honda, 294. You know what? I don't have anything major delays on the roadways right now. Thanks a lot to Napleton River Oaks Honda. Maybe a little bit on the southern end of the Dan Ryan as you come off of the Bishop Ford. That's about it. Other than that, for some reason, things are moving along. But I do want to tell you that on US 41, they're putting up the signs. The big bridge in Highland starts this morning, going down to one lane in both directions. Tonight, we have a special, you know what, we have just really gotten lucky here in that anybody who sponsored sports, you got so much for what you guys did through the tournament and what you did through the season. Of course, we did all of the sectional and regional games in video, and then we had all of the Big Ten tournament and a whole bunch of NCAA games. But through a quirk in the cosmic egg, we have the national championship game tonight here on WJOB. The schedule will be as such. From 6 to 6:30, it'll be Ryan Walsh with the NCAA Insiders, and he will be talking to John Pagatti on the phone from San Antonio, where he is. Then we have the pregame show at 6:30. The tip is at 8:20. And I got to tell you that the pregame shows for the NCAA games, Purdue had some excellent ones, and, of course, the NCAA national feed is really worth almost sitting in your car outside a bar waiting to go in to listen to the thing. So we're going to have all of that. Ryan Walsh, we've got Casey, right? What do you got? All right, the Cones are down by Meyer, and so US 41 is going to be a nightmare. And I'll tell you what, Casey's out in Vegas. It's one of the bigger betting days in Vegas of the year. And Casey, how are you doing, man? What are you doing up so early?
Well, I've actually changed. I used to be a day shift guy, and I switched days off, and now I'm an 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. guy. So I'm about 3 hours left in the shift, but I would be up anyway. Such a great day, such a great week. We got Frozen Four Thursday and Saturday, which has no day in Michigan, Ohio State, Minnesota, Duluth. So if you're one of the sports junkies like I am, it's a great week, and I sort of wish they still had the third place game. Ryan probably doesn't know anything about that, Jed, but us old timers remember when they used to play the third place consolation game in these tournaments. So
I do remember that, and Purdue was in was it 67? They played the number 3 game. I remember listening to that late at night in bed. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, for a consolation game.
Yeah, it was a consolation game.
Going to be interesting tonight. I think Villanova kind of does a little bit of a walkover. Spreads around 7. They're figuring 145 points combined. So they're figuring somewhere in the 70s each. I don't see Michigan being able to score. I think Villanova's defense is a little underrated. They talk about the 3-point shooting, which obviously, a team hits 18 threes, and I guess if you're going to shoot, mid 40s or upper 40s%, why shoot a 12-foot jump shot when you can get 3 points from 20? So, a couple of the guys, my gut feeling is Wagner's going to get in foul trouble. They're going to put Spellman, down on the block a little bit. After him, Teskey is just not at this level. Although showing promise, I think Charles Matthews from Michigan is going to have a particularly bad game. I think it's a bad matchup for him. Probably be matched up with Bridges. Rockman also for Michigan to me is just a glorified walk-on. And at this upper level, he's kind of disappeared. So I think Villanova's somewhere in like the 80-64 range is what I see tonight.
What's the spread right now?
It's right now Villanova's 6.5. The totals jumped a little bit. It opened at 144. It's up to 145.5. I'm going to take a little shot. They did something Saturday. I didn't really understand with the Loyola game. They put up a proposition of whether either team would have a 14.5-point lead at any point in the game. And to me, I'm thinking this game's going to be in the 60s. Nobody's going to ever have a 14-point lead. And it close. Michigan got to 11 or 12 twice. I'm going to take a shot with Villanova. I'm going to lay to 13.5. and it's a plus 260 investment. So if I happen to throw $100 on it and it comes in, I'm going to get 260 plus my money back if Villanova wins by 14 or more. I think they could really put it on Michigan tonight.
Hold on a second, Casey. Aren't you from Michigan?
I am, but I have a personal beef with John Beilein, which I'll be glad to tell you off air. Coach Pagani knows about it. So, hey, you know what, Jed? I'll tell you what. I know how loyal you are to Purdue, and I appreciate loyalty where I'm from. That doesn't pay the bills, and that doesn't pick up the check for dinner. So, you know what? If I like them, the money's going to be there Thursday. I think they beat Notre Dame in hockey. That series they played 4 games, and that was 2-2 this year. But I would bet against my own grandmother or my own mother if it meant putting a few dollars in my pocket.
Let's go back to this game. And you didn't really go into the one person that it's hard to watch him and say how come he can't go to like Purdue. And that's Jalen Brunson. The USA Today this morning says that he is the best college point guard in recent memory. Do you agree with that?
I think all assets of the game, yes. Now we always say Ryan can't remember. Ryan probably does remember his dad playing at Temple, and his dad played a very similar type game. You know, everybody. You look at the kid for Michigan, Simpson. He struggles shooting the ball, and he's a 51% free throw shooter.
Yeah, that's ugly to watch, yes.
You know, Brunson is in the 80s or 90s from the free throw line. He's a good enough three-point shooter. He's unselfish in a day and age where everybody's all about me, and how many points I score. So I don't want to say a throwback, but he's a throwback, and, you know, that's the J thing. All these guys, you look at McCall Bridges, you know, when they won 2 years ago, he was the role player off the bench or the seventh guy. Now everybody's taken a step. If you look at all their numbers, all these guys that have stuck around, they go freshman like 5 points a game, sophomore 9, then they go to 12 or 13. It's a process that they've all bought into, and the scary thing is we know they're not all coming back. Every single one of these guys, I think, could come back because Brunson and Bridges and all these guys, that's their junior class, so they could come back and do it all over again if they wanted to. I think Bridges is gone for sure. I think he's a top 10 or 11 pick. So, and Brunson could come back. I mean, at 6'1", he's undersized for the NBA, whether he goes this year or next year, kind of like Yogi Ferrell. Yogi Ferrell could have went any time from Indiana. He was still going to be 5'8".
He's not 5'8". Watch yourself. Hey, and I've got Jalen Brunson listed right here on USA Today Sports at 6'3", just so you know. Now, didn't his dad play for the Bulls for a short period, like in the early 2000s, or?
You know, I think he was one of those guys that bounced around. He come out of Temple, and I think he bounced around a little bit.
Yeah, I know he was at the Supersonics, if I remember correctly. Maybe he played for 6 teams. Yeah, so
yeah, this goes. I don't even know who Quad City Thunder was. That was what the not before the D League, but they got them. Portland Trailblazers, Knicks, Celtics, Knicks again, Blazers, Bulls. 2002, 2003.
Okay, so it was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking to Casey out in Vegas, and we're talking about the game tonight, Villanova, Michigan. Of course, here on WJOB, we have the game. I don't know how Ryan got it, but I do know that part of what we have going on is that not only do we get the Final Four here, we get the Frozen Four at the end of the week. And that'll be the hockey games, and that's pretty exciting, Casey. People don't realize what a big betting weekend that is also for you.
You know, it's the college hockey. It's so limited regionally because other than Nebraska, Omaha, there's nothing in the Midwest. It's more of a Midwest East, Colorado area type thing. But you know, the college game, there's no fighting. It's more end to end, and it's a wide open. It's almost like watching the NHL when they go to overtime and it's 4-on-4. It just seems like there's a ton of space in the college game, and again, being a Michigan guy, Notre Dame's in it, Ohio State's in it. If I could beat two people, those are the two teams I want to take a shot at, and all the Minnesota schools, Minnesota, Duluth, there, a ton of upsets. St. Cloud State up in Minnesota was a 1 seed, and Air Force beat them, 6-3, I think it was. So, the college hockey game, it's not as well known. The people don't watch it as much, but it's a great game to watch, and those kids give you everything they got every night.
Hey, one more thing, Casey. Masters.
You know what? I really like what Jordan Spieth did last week. I mean, he had that stumble it was late in the second and the third, but he closed with, I think, a 67 or 66. My gut is Spieth. I don't like Tiger. Hot golfer got to be Bubba Watson, who's won there. So I would side with Bubba. I like what Spieth is doing. Don't like Fowler. He usually chokes on the weekends. So if I were to throw a couple of bucks, I know he had that meltdown a couple of years ago on 12, but I think Jordan Spieth is working on the putter, and Spieth would be my guy if I had put a few dollars down.
All right, he's Casey. He's out in Vegas. Casey, thanks for calling in. I got a guy behind you right now.
Anytime you guys need me, just give me a holler.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, Casey.
All right,
we appreciate
have a good day.
There it is, guys. Lining it up. Got to get your numbers right on a day like today. You know what I mean? Speaking of numbers, we had Governor Eric Holcomb last week, and we talked about the new session that is going to be coming up here. And we talked about the governor's trip to Canada. I don't know. We talked about a couple other things. And you know what? We're going to continue to talk about things that are going on downstate because they do affect us. And right now it is Dan Carden of the NWI Times. You can read him. Even though the session's over, you can still read Dan on a regular basis. Dan, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Villanova or Michigan tonight, my friend?
I had Kansas in my bracket, so I'm done for. So I'm going to go with Michigan just for the way they beat Loyola. It was pretty convincing over what had turned out to be a pretty good team.
In your paper, in the Times, Bill Dolan, a contemporary of yours and of mine, he's like one of the longest.
More of yours.
Yeah, well, more of mine because I start looking around and I'm like, who else was in the game when I worked at WJOB in '85? In the mid-'80s, the only guy that was remotely in the game at that time was Bill Dolan, so he's it. Other than that, there's people like you that are quite a bit younger. Sister Jean and Bobby Cantrell were somehow equated in an article by Bill Dolan, and it just, if anybody knows the background there, it just makes you kind of smile. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. It was an interesting story that nobody else really had going into that game, so I was glad he wrote it.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that more the national folks didn't pick up on that. Around here, Cantrell has kind of a reputation as being kind of a tough guy and politically, but nationally, they needed something, and he was the guy. He was the guy in '64 that beat Loyola from Michigan, and nobody really picked up on that nationally. I was surprised. Hey, listen, I talked to Governor Holcomb last week, and let's just hit him in order. We talked about the upcoming session. He laid it out that they didn't get everything done, and all of a sudden the clock struck midnight, and he really wants them to come back, but ostensibly just to get $5 million for school safety and maybe a couple of other things. Then I started thinking about it. $5 million, Dan? Is that going to go very far?
It's really not. It's $5 million on top of $9 million that they already gave the schools. So for the last few years, Indiana has made between $9 and $10 million available to schools in terms of matching grants. So schools have to put up half of it, and the state will pay the other half. this year they got more applications than they were able to fill. So they got, I would say, like an extra $3 million in requests. So this $5 million would cover that, plus put a couple million more out there. But it's nowhere near what other states are looking at. I think Wisconsin has $100 million that they're looking at spending on school safety. Florida's looking at $400 million. I mean, you can argue that Indiana has been, dropping $10 million a year since 2013. So cumulatively, we're pretty close to those other states. But, realistically, $5 million divided by 400 some school districts isn't going to go very far.
What else is going on with this? I mean, is there a backstory? I mean, basically what the governor made it sound like, and reading some of your articles, I guess I'm just from afar looking at it and say, hey, they had all this stuff they wanted to deal with, and then it just got crazy at the end, and they weren't able to finish. Or something else going on.
Yeah, I mean, there is and there isn't. It's the legislative process is a process. And I think some people going into the last week of session didn't realize that it takes time to get stuff done. So these were all bills that had passed both the House and the Senate, but in different forms. So lawmakers have to get together in a conference committee, work out some identical language, and then repass it through both chambers. But before they can vote on it, the Republicans take it to the Republicans in the House and the Senate. Democrats take it to the Democrats, and then they have to go to what's called the Rules Committee in the House and the Senate just to make sure it conforms with the rules, and then they can vote on it. But it all just takes time. So once you have an agreement, you're still looking at 6 or 7 hours of just procedural stuff. Even just basic stuff like printing the bill or getting it updated in the computer system takes time. And they were just kind of way behind going into the last week of session. They hadn't set aside a lot of time for conference committees, just 5 days. And then both the House and the Senate spent a lot of time honoring their retiring members. If you might remember my story about Charlie Brown and Linda Lawson, they were doing those tributes the last couple days of session. The Senate, on the last day of session, spent about 5 hours honoring 3 retiring members. And one of them is, Senate President David Long, so a lot of people had a lot of nice things to say about him. But, what is the priority? By 11:30, the Senate was just taking these huge bills with massive implications for education and, workforce, and just saying, just dropping them on the floor, saying no debate, just vote, and then they bring up the next one. And they still couldn't get it done, even by ignoring, this idea that people are actually debating the legislation. So it was just kind of mismanagement from top to bottom. The Democrats naturally are blasting the Republican supermajorities because the Republicans control everything. They got the governor's office, they got the House, they got the Senate. So they're saying, why couldn't they get things done if they're in charge of everything? In most special sessions in the past have come when one party has control of one chamber, almost always the House. Democrats have the House. Republicans have had the Senate since 1978. And so if you look at the 2009 budget issue that caused a special session, it was a Democratic House and a Republican Senate and a Republican governor that couldn't agree. Similarly, in 2002, Democratic House, Democratic governor, Republican Senate that couldn't agree on some tax reforms. So this is kind of a unique situation where you have all Republican government, and we have to go to a special session because things just didn't get done.
He is Dan Carden. He is not the British Labour Party politician.
I aspire to be.
Yeah, he is the Dan Carden that twice in 1 year he's going to get national attention. And Dan Carden will be on Jeopardy today at 3:30. And if you guys aren't doing anything, you better find it and watch it at 3:30 here locally on is that NBC? I can't remember.
ABC.
Channel 7 up here. Yeah, so that's ABC at 3:30. And Dan, I hate to burst your image of perhaps of just a very sedentary radio host up here, but I've been known to go to local establishments in the late afternoon and sit there and watch Jeopardy at the bar. I start at 4:30. 3:30 to me is like 8:30 to a lot of people. So
Right.
it's kind of, the day's kind of winding down. So I've got a specific place in mind at a specific bar at the end of it to watch you today at 3:30. You got to be excited.
I am. It was a lot of fun to be on the program, to tape the program, and I think you're going to like watching the program as well.
And if anybody wants to know what that other national attention was, just go Google it. We don't need to talk about that right now. Hey, listen. Holcomb goes to Canada with Gary, Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson like they're best buds. What's up with that?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Well, Gary is trying to get a port in Buffington Harbor. Their legislators and the mayor have been pushing the state to turn Buffington Harbor into a legit port like Burns Harbor, presumably once the Majestic Star has moved onto land at some point in the future. The ports, the state agency that runs the port has said there's no need to do that because there's plenty of capacity at Burns Harbor, so we don't need to put another port there. But Gary's really pushing for this, and part of this trip was meeting the people who run the port they're based in Montreal. So it is interesting that he would take a Democrat from Northwest Indiana on this trip with him. I honestly don't know what he's trying to do aside from maybe helping her out on this port thing, or maybe showing her that the company that there's no interest in it, but maybe there is interest because both of them came back and seem to have good things to say about it.
Now, the governor is also headed out to Paris. I don't believe she's going on this one.
Yeah.
Why is this happening in your mind? I got the governor's version, and he's basically saying that, we can create jobs here in Indiana by going and basically selling the Indiana story. What do you read out of this?
Yeah, he's not wrong. Indiana has a lot of foreign employers, and a lot of foreign companies are interested in Indiana because we are one of the few states where manufacturing still is being done in the United States. Hoosier governors have been going on foreign trips for decades. They're privately funded, so there's no taxpayer dollars at stake. So I think it's one of those things where you take a chance. If it doesn't pay off, then it doesn't pay off. But if it does pay off, you could get something huge like the Honda plant in southern Indiana or the Subaru plant in Lafayette. And, these are thousands of jobs for decades of Hoosier workers. So it's not the worst idea. Governor Holcomb has been really pushing direct flights, especially from the Indianapolis airport to other places. And one of the things he's going to be doing from Paris is flying back on the first direct flight from Paris to Indianapolis. So that's starting in May on Delta. So, this is a big thing that he wants to emphasize, that Indianapolis is connected to all these major cities. And he's been pushing that on the tech side. A couple of years ago, they added a flight to San Francisco, and now I believe there's 3 direct flights a day back and forth to San Francisco. And that has helped Indianapolis's burgeoning tech scene. They've recently added a flight to Seattle. So I guess if you live in the Indianapolis area, it's much more convenient to fly places. I mean, I would assume most people in Northwest Indiana are still flying out of the Chicago airports, but he thinks it's good for the state. I mean, obviously it is good for the state if these businesses are coming here and, employing Hoosiers and paying taxes and all the other things that we want companies to do.
Yeah, I'm looking right now at trying to fly on that flight from Indianapolis to Paris, and it's about $2,000 with a nonstop right now. Are you hearing any lower prices on that?
No, I've looked at that myself. It's even if you live in Indianapolis like I do, it's still cheaper to drive to O'Hare and fly from there, just because there's a ton more carriers. But if you're on a business account and you need to be there right away, that's the price isn't as much of an object. They're also hoping to get a bunch of people, sort of F1 Formula One people, from France to come over and watch the IndyCar race in May. That's why it's starting then. That it'll bring people to the Indianapolis 500 and, maybe have them stick around for a few days. So it's they believe that it enhances economic development. The state has put some money into subsidizing some of these flights. So we'll see how it pays off.
Dan Carden, we're very proud of you, my friend. Jeopardy. And you know what? I mean, I'm like jealous of like Jeopardy people. I because my mind gets bumbled, when you're playing it at home, and then you shout out the answer right as they give it, and you go, I knew that one. But most mortal beings can't even get on the show because of their, just average intelligence and speed. Just to get on there is a big deal, man. You can't say how you did, so we'll get that today. But we're proud of you.
Thank you. It's like I said, it was a great experience. And even when you're there and on the show, it's almost the same situation. You want to shout out the answer, and you have to ring in. And if you watch the show, you see the frustration of people trying to ring in because they know the answer. And like, I know the answer. I'm on the show, and I'm trying to ring in, and you just can't do it. And it's even more frustrating to be there and be in that situation. But then, sometimes you ring in and you get the answer wrong, and it's even more painful when you're doing it on national television.
Hopefully you're not foreshadowing anything.
Hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically, okay. Sometimes I don't know what you did today, and you're not going to tell us because we don't want to know because I can't keep a secret. But sometimes your missteps can be like lore for the family for a long time. Let's just hope you haven't given, like your brother-in-law, just fodder for the next 10 or 15 years. That's where it really hurts. I can see yeah.
I was going to say, I can guarantee there is one situation that I will be hearing about for the rest of my life.
All right, man. Good for you. We'll watch you today on Jeopardy. Dan Carden, especially if you don't know what he looks like. Dan, thanks so much like always, buddy.
You got it.
All right, we'll talk to you. 7:02 in the Calumet region. Be right back.
Looking to advance your career? Earn a master's degree in technology online in just 18 months from Purdue University Northwest. Our graduates tell us their master's degree in technology, leadership, and management results in promotion and higher pay. Call Purdue Northwest at 219-989-2966. That's 219-989-2966 to get ahead today.
JED's Garden Family Restaurant, located at the corner of Klein and Ridge, is Griffith's locally owned family restaurant with a down-home feel and made-from-scratch favorites you'll love. Open daily from 5 a.m. to midnight. JED's features all-day breakfast, lunch, dinner, and night digs. For family-friendly dining with free Wi-Fi, stop in today at JED's. With your meal, make sure you try our award-winning lemon rice soup. Mention WJOB to receive 20% off your order at JED's.
Laborers Local 41, together with Indiana Laborers Training Center and our signatory employers, provide state-of-the-art instruction in all areas of the construction industry, from hazardous material handling and environmental remediation to road construction and highway safety. Remember to slow down in construction zones and that the Local 41 members working there are mothers, fathers, coaches, and mentors. Laborers Local 41. We build Indiana in more ways than one.
Fill your garage with your dream car during the Honda Dream Garage Spring event going on now at Napleton's River Oaks Honda. They're Northwest Indiana's destination for new and certified pre-owned Hondas. Napleton's River Oaks Honda has a huge selection of brand new and certified pre-owned Civics, Accords, CRVs, and Pilots. Come find out why you always get our best deal at River Oaks Honda. As always, Indiana residents pay Indiana sales tax right off 8094 on Torrance Avenue or online at riveroakshonda.com.
Napleton, second to none since 1931.
This is Jimmy Mullaney, and you are listening to WJOB 1230 AM and FM 104.7 in Hammond, Indiana.
Knock, knock, who's there? Mike Brown. Mike Brown who? Knock, knock, who's there? Mike Brown. Mike Brown who? Hey, what are you guys doing? It's 7:04 in the Calumet region. 219-845-1100. You want to talk to Ryan? Ryan's going to join me. We're going to talk a little bit of stuff. And I'm looking a little dark there, Jimmy, so you're going to have to fix something here. And if you want to watch us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, you can do that right now. I will mention that we're also on the TuneIn app if you just like to listen. I don't know. When the TuneIn app goes down, it's amazing how many people text us and are pissed. So I apologize. I was fixing something a week and a half ago or so, and we knocked it out. And you know what I've done here is that we've been able to operate fairly lean manner. Many of the day-to-day operations, Debbie Wargo takes over during the middle of the day. And one of the things we've been able to save some money on over the many years is that I've kind of learned how to fix a lot of the equipment here. It's pretty high-level stuff, and I was a laborer's 41 guy, so I could work with my hands if I had to. And so I went over there and fixed the Arbitron meter, and it was a rather lengthy process, but we kicked off the TuneIn app, and man, I got texts and Facebook messages in the middle of the night. People were just not happy, man. And Ryan, we got to watch that.
We do have to watch that. People are always trying to listen and watch in many avenues to get to us now.
And but there's a lot of people. I like to listen in the mornings. Like I didn't sleep last night, just like always. And I like to listen to like San Francisco radio, or because I grew up and grew up intellectually, I guess, if that ever really happens. And that was at Berkeley. And then sometimes I like to listen to New York City radio because there's always something going on there. And, of course, on the same TuneIn app, you can listen to WJOB. And we get some pretty bad ratings when it goes down, and then they rate us on TuneIn. And I'm like, my wife's like, you better go over and fix that. It's down in the middle of the night. And I'm like, I'm not getting up to go fix that app right now. They can wait until after I work out today, and that's how it's going to be. Hey, let's listen. Let's talk traffic. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good to Bishop Ford from, say, 111th on up to about 95th is a little bit tight, but it's moving. And going into that. So I don't know if I would necessarily pay the money to this just yet. You're going to stop and go through the merge, but it's been worse. Skyway Toll Road looked good. Borman looks good. I-65. The big one is going to affect Ryan in about 3 hours when he tries to go down to Planet Fitness in Cherville, and that is on Indianapolis Boulevard. It's down to one lane in both directions. Anybody in that area right now, we'd love to hear from you at 219-845-1100. Listen, let's see. Look, I like sports too, but tell me why the train is late. All right, it is very cold out here.
It's behind schedule. That's why it's late.
You know, I did not know that it was late. Did you know that, Ryan?
No.
No, I did not. And what do we have? What is the update on the train? And I don't have anything. It says westbound train is at Gary Metro, 20 to 30 minutes due to mechanical problems. Train 108 will run around 106 at Gary Metro and will be running on time. So right now, just the one train that you're evidently waiting for is at the Gary Metro station and still stuck there. So they got to run one around it, and you are going to have to wait for that to happen. Let me look at the schedule here, if you don't mind. And so 106 is stopped. What happens, man? That's like a bad door, hopefully, or something, huh? So 106 going out here to East Chicago. So
they forgot to run on the defroster last night, and they got frost on the windows.
Yeah, so if you want to go, they get this ridiculous, tough way of getting the schedule, but I'm going to look at it right now. All right. And, well, anyways, I can't find the schedule, so good luck with that. 106 is going to be late. Well, the rest of them. All right, Jimmy Mulaney, what time does the 106 come in to East Chicago? And then a 108. I can't read that. That's too far. So he's got it up on the screen if you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. All right. There you go. Traffic brought to you by our good friends at Napleton River Oaks Honda. Let's take a look at the weather. That's probably one of the bigger stories this week, as it's only 19 degrees right now here at the Strachan Van Til Studios, going up to a high of 45. Some sun and some clouds and chilly. And your historical average on this date is 53. We won't see that for about a week and a half before we reach the historical average. And that'll be, no, we won't hit the historical average until next Saturday. So you get some teens coming up in the coming 5-day forecast. You get a lot of 20s and you get a lot of 30s. And so we're just freezing our butt off. Yesterday was a very cold Easter. I hope that you enjoyed your Easter and were able to do get together with some family and friends. And but it was cold, man. It was tough. Just walking outside and coming in and out. It was in the low 30s for most of the day. And weather brought to you by our good friends at Carpenter's Local 599. Ryan Walsh, way to go getting the Final Four. How'd it come about?
Well, somebody emailed us on Friday night from the NWI Times that asked us if it said that we're on the listing of the stations that cover the NCAA tournament, and that said that we were airing the Final Four. And in the past, we were blocked out once we get past the opening weekend. They gave it to the stations with the higher ratings, and Chicago stations had it. And I talked to our sales rep at Westwood One, and he said, "Yeah, you guys are good. Take it. Go ahead and take the Final Four." He said that you guys have done good enough coverage with it. Run the Final Four, and if you could just run the Frozen Four in addition. And so we got a package deal. That'll happen late Friday night.
Yeah, so I want to thank Reardon, a guy by the name of Dan Reardon at the Times. We didn't think we were going to get it because we just, it's just hard to get. And he pointed out that it was already on the website, so they were already giving it to us. So we would have figured it out, but he was the first one to notice it. And that's kind of weird that we were able to get it, but good job. And I'm actually looking forward to having the Frozen Four this weekend.
We had it last year. It was a great Final Four, and again, Notre Dame's in it, so there's a big following here in North Indiana for Notre Dame hockey.
So you'll be able to listen to Notre Dame. I don't have the schedule on that, but we'll have that a little bit later. Ryan, Loyola went down on Saturday.
Yeah, they went down. Michigan, they were the better team. They were the better team and should have won that game. Loyola had some good stretches of the game, but they had a little bit of a panic when Michigan was a cold shooting team for the first half and a good portion of the second half. And then once Michigan got going, they had a couple 3-pointers and made a couple drives to the basket and scored. Loyola kind of panicked.
They were taking quick shots. They were getting away from their game. It was a panic.
They had a stretch, 5 turnovers in a row.
Yep.
I mean, that was what changed everything because it seemed like Michigan was just completely flustered. And then the lid came off the rim when they hit a 3-pointer, and that kind of warmed them up for a good stretch. And I think they had a 16-3 run or 16-4 run.
It was a 17-4 run before Loyola was able to get a couple back. And that pretty much covered it. And, well, the Ramblers are out. It was a nice run. You knew that was going to happen. Casey's saying that Michigan's going to get creamed tonight by Villanova by more than 13 points. So I just don't see it. Hey, I was off on Good Friday. So was Ryan. And but Ryan, the opening day for the Cubs, you celebrated at Johnny's Tap starting at 11:30 in the morning. And the Cubs won that one.
Yeah, they did. Jim Mulaney, Wayne Micka, Tony Panic were there. Dave Kuzak stopped by for a little bit, and they had a pretty good crowd at Johnny's Tap. Met some friends. I did a couple Facebook Live videos on our WJLB Facebook page, and had a good turnout. There were some Swarber fans there, Rizzo fans, Lester, of course. Lester's still got a big following. It was a good turnout. They had the Italian beef sandwich on special for $6. It comes with fries. They had $2 old styles and Bud Lights and Budweisers. So it's a good crowd there. And when we were leaving for the end of the Cubs game and the White Sox game was getting ready to start, and there's a bunch of White Sox fans that came filing in. So they had the later game, 3:00, and they won that. Cubs and the White Sox won. White Sox had a rally, got down early, couple runs, and the Cubs had a lead, and they let the lead slip away, but they regained it late, and that was a couple home runs. But White Sox, thumbs up for the first weekend. Cubs, they got some things to work out if they want to be a contender again for the World Series.
And one of those is hitting with guys in scoring position yesterday. I don't know if you watched that game. The Miami Marlins, Cubs were threatening. It seemed like every inning for the first 4 innings. I think they left 10 on in the first 4 innings. And they just couldn't get the hit, and they had a bad squeeze bunt, and it was very frustrating. And next thing you know, it looks like the Cubs are going to get out of a jam, and the big right-hander hits a double off the wall, clears the bases, and Cubs are down 5-0. Literally, it was 0-0, and I was watching the game, and I go, all right, I need to get something from upstairs, and I went upstairs and grabbed some laundry, and Alexis was in the kitchen area, and I come down, I go, honey, I'm pretty sure I left here. It was 0-0, and the Marlins were coming out to bat. It's 5-0 now? What happened? And she explained, and the Cubs got, if they had gotten some runs early, that would have changed the complexion of that game.
Yeah, they had a ton of hits, and on a pitcher, that's really stressful on a pitcher when you see that guys just can't chip in and get the guys over and get them in. And one of the big plays, that grounder that Rizzo didn't get to at first base. And actually, I wanted to bring that up. One of our loyalist listeners, Vic, he emails you sometimes, and he emails me sometimes. He emailed me. He's a diehard Rizzo. He's a big Rizzo fan, and he said the body language from Rizzo yesterday, entire game long, was very negative. He was very surprised to see that even early on in the game before the warming up, and something was up with Rizzo. He was down on Rizzo in the email he sent me.
Well, Rizzo, he's a National League player. Was he Player of the Year? No, he wasn't. No, but he was right up there in contention, and with Chris Bryant, and you're going to watch every move. Might have been a little tough for him to be down around his hometown.
A lot of pressure on him.
A lot of pressure in that area. All right, Ryan, anything else in sports?
Well, tonight we'll have the NCAA Final Four. We're going to have a lot of basketball talk tonight, 6 o'clock to 6:30. I'll be on, and we're going to go to the Westwood 1 coverage that starts at 6:30. And then at 8:20 is the tip-off. Got a great broadcast crew calling the game, Kevin Kugler. Many Purdue fans, IU fans might know his voice but not know his face. He's done a bunch of games for Big Ten Network and Fox Sports 1 over the last couple of years. He's also the voice of the Super Bowl for Westwood 1. Great broadcaster. He'll be on the call with Clark Kellogg, and that'll be about 8:20 tonight. So that's what we have on our slate. Cubs are back in action in Cincinnati. 3:10 is the first pitch. The White Sox are up north in Canada playing the Toronto Blue Jays. It's a 6:07 first pitch.
All right, guys. AM 1230, WJOB 1047. Billy Baker up next.
Hello, everybody. This is Raimundo Garcia speaking. You know, the busboy from El Taco Real. I'm here at WJOB to announce that I am not the most interesting man in the world. I use bar soap when I shave. I once ate a hot dog with ketchup on it. I put my jeans on one leg at a time. When I drink beer, I sometimes drink Dos Equis. Sometimes I drink Corona. Sometimes I drink margaritas, and sometimes I drink Bordeaux. I don't always eat Mexican food, but when I do, I eat at El Taco Real. At El Taco Real, you can get Dos Equis, Corona, great margaritas, as well as fine wine. So when you want great Mexican food, go to El Taco Real. I'm the busboy, Raimundo Garcia, and not the most interesting man in the world. El Taco Real is located on Hoffman Street between Calumet and Columbia Avenues in beautiful North Hammond, Indiana. We're open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 11 till 10, Friday and Saturday from 11 to 11, and Sunday from 11 till 9. Stay hungry, my friends.
Loyalty, hard work, self-reliance, genuineness, and gratitude. These values make us who we are. They're here in Indiana, and they're here in Indiana's grocery store, Strachan Van Til. We're proud to serve the people who have put us at the heart of their neighborhoods. We're dedicated to the Indiana values we share and to providing an experience that will make you dedicated to us. Strachan Van Til is Indiana's grocery store, and we're Indiana made.
Carpenters Local 599 joins with other Carpenter locals to build the local economy and has been doing so for over 117 years. We are proud to be a member of the Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio Regional Council of Carpenters, which is threefold: training, professionalism, and partnership. We also offer some of the best benefits in the industry. To find out how to become a member of Carpenters Local 599, contact us at 219-942-0518 or log on to ikorcc.com.
The 5th annual 911 Slugfest at the historical Hammond Civic Center will be held on Saturday, April 14th, with the doors opening at 6 p.m. This action-packed boxing charity event will feature the local policemen and firemen boxing out 3 one-minute rounds with an estimated 12 to 13 bouts overall. This year, all donations will be going to the Little Wish Foundation, an organization started in Michigan City helping seriously ill children facing the challenges of pediatric cancer. Tickets for 911 Slugfest can be purchased at ticketfly.com or by calling the Hammond Civic Center. Questions? Call Jack or Karen Callahan at 219-306-1203.
Hey guys, what's going on? AM 1230 WJOB in Hammond, Indiana, 719 in the Calumet region. I'm Jim Delo, host of JED in the region, hanging out with you guys. And our condolences to the Dumas family. East Chicago Master Patrolman Corey Dumas was found dead Friday morning at his Gary home. He's an 11-year veteran with the department. He'll be missed by the entire department. Members of the city's police are mourning the loss of one of their own, and the flags will be at half-staff in EC, and if you're wondering why. And his personality could light up a room, Rosario. Let's see, Rosario said, I don't know, Deputy Chief Hector Rosario. He said he was always in good spirits. He was known for singing in the halls and his contagious laugh. They were at half-staff on Saturday, and Dumas's squad sports utility vehicle was placed on the front lawn. A black and a blue, thin blue line memorial flag dropped over the windshield beside a blue rose. That's according to the Times. All right, hey, let's take a look at what's going on in traffic. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. Bishop Ford, a little bit of tightness at the merge, but it's been worse. I wouldn't make you spend the money quite yet. And then on Skyway and the toll road, those look pretty good. And so does I-65, US 30, Klein Avenue, and all the rest of them. A couple other things in terms of traffic. Indianapolis Boulevard is now down to one lane. Bill Baker and I are going to talk about that. And also the Calumet Avenue area between Sibley... between Sibley and what, Ryan? What's on the other side of that? I think, is that Michigan? Yeah, Michigan. Between Sibley and Michigan. I want to say that's Carroll there, but anyways, that's on Calumet Avenue. It's around Sibley, and I'll get out there and take a look at it today. Also, the 106 train that comes in the mid-640s, 645 or so, is stopped at the Gary station, so they had to do some rearranging, and it looks like the rest of the day should be on time. It's just that one trip that is bad, and that is on the South Shore train. They're having some sort of a mechanical issue on that train, 106, and the train 108 and the rest of them should be running on time. All right, that ought to do it, huh? Stop for a second. Take a breath, and welcome in William F. Baker. How you doing, Billy?
Jimmy, happy Monday.
Is it?
You have to make it happy Monday.
Happy
Before
Monday.
I start, I guess
Want
it's
some
kind
of this?
I was going to ask that Jimmy showed me a pear for you radio people, and you know how pears get after a while, they get kind of bruised up, and that's usually when they're nice and ripe. But at what point do you go, I'm not eating that thing? And that's on the cusp. It'll be good. You're going to put a big drip on that nice Eddie Bauer shirt you got, but that'll be outstanding.
I got
because you can't start that first bite of a ripe pear that doesn't go all right down your chin.
Well, I'm going to wait.
Got some other stuff in there too, so that
I had a little tangerine stuff going on here, but I've had this discussion with Verly Suggs, who is the Tuesday version of Bill Baker on Monday.
She'll love that.
And she'll bring in a banana, and she eats these bananas that are like they're like hard.
The bruise, hard,
yeah,
green.
They're green.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. And then I brought a banana one time that had the perfect amount of like brown, black, slowly rotting thing along the outside. That's when you eat a banana, man.
See.
Those little organic bananas that get bad after like 3 days. Instead of buying those big Chiquita ones that are size of a small baseball bat, and then it takes them It takes them. You could have one of those Chiquita bananas around for 3 weeks and still eat it.
3 weeks? That's a little push.
I'm telling you, man. And then they don't get sweet at all until they really. So anymore, I eat fruit when it's like this, and this one is on the cusp. You don't want mushy spots when you bite into it, but it's still relatively firm. And
it's like that peach that you get, and you think it's all nice and ripe, and you bite into it, and it's just all brown all the way to the pit.
You spit it out.
I was really looking forward to this peach.
You know, when Alexis came along, one time I was at her apartment. We just started dating, and she comes in, and I'm just sitting there reading the paper. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I go, "Nothing. I'm just reading the paper." She goes, "No, look at what you're doing." And it was so natural to me. I didn't even notice that I had opened up a can of green beans and was eating right out of them with a fork.
Hey, that's bachelor, man.
It's like, we don't eat out of the green bean can, okay?
Okay.
And then I had the milk there without a glass. She's like, "Where's the glass for that milk that you're drinking?"
Were you standing up? Because
I was standing up.
Oh, there's even better at the counter.
Eating green beans and milk because I didn't want to think about it.
Sit and make another mess.
I didn't want to make a sandwich. It's just like too much thought. And so, I mean, I had to quit drinking right out of the milk in the fridge unless she's not home.
Right.
And then I had to quit eating out of the cans. Remember,
domesticated.
I had Dennis Wood and Joe Preboy and Dan Nagy came out to visit me. Maybe Bill Harder.
We're in California.
In California.
To the commune.
Cooperative. And I was so broke. Oh, I just kidding. They came down.
Careful.
They came in and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I go, "Well, I'm eating a sandwich." He goes, "There's bread and there's ketchup on it and pickles." And I'm like, "Well, I don't have any money."
And it was the
I'm glad you guys are here.
Take me for a
dinner,
American breakfast.
For the rest of their lives, they told a story about eating ketchup sandwiches, and I'm like,
I got a couple of those too.
You know,
hey, when you have no money, at least you're out of the house.
You just get used to it, and even now, I know it was the one thing I had to learn how to eat a little slower. Alexis is like,
that was hard for you.
I went and ate with, was at a lunch with Randy Palmatier of the Building Trades guys, right? And he's a union guy.
So his name in the paper.
Yeah, the food came, and about halfway through, he's like, "Dude, man, you got to slow down. I feel like I'm at a speed eating contest." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He goes, "I eat to the speed of the people around me, and you're just going so fast. I mean, come on, I got to take a break here." And then I thought about it. I go, maybe my wife's right. When a union guy that has worked out in the field and is telling me to slow down, that's the time when you got to take a deep breath and start to eat slower.
Really? Union guys would do that, huh?
Yeah.
I would think most union guys could give a rat's ass on how fast you eat.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Because
I sure as heck don't.
No, listen.
That means you're not talking, which is better.
Yeah, well, I'm just listening. Yeah, that's what my wife says. She goes, when the food comes and we're out with a couple or something, you don't talk until you're done. So slow down and join in the conversation.
Hey, that once in a while, all of a sudden, everybody's done, and I got a whole bunch of food left. I go, yeah, that means I need to shut my pie hole.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, he's Bill Baker. Baker, what it is out on the job site, you get a 15-minute break. And then you get like a half-hour lunch, or maybe sometimes it's longer. And what I found when I started as a 41 guy all those years was that a lot of the times I was going in hungover. So when it came to 9:45, I had to eat that whole lunch, or 8:45, depending on what time you start. And so you have 15 minutes to get back to the trailer, eat your lunch, and get back on the job. So you eat in about 5 to 7 minutes a big whole sandwich that your mom made you. You know what I mean? It actually holds together.
Just more riveting radio.
He's Billy Baker. What do you guys want to talk about? We got plenty to talk about, and we're going to hit it first, but we got to see how Jackie's doing this morning. Hi, Jackie.
Hey, Jim. Hey, Billy.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. First, Jim, my condolences to you.
Yes, thank you. We're going to talk about that. Baker knew my grandmother also, so.
Oh, very well,
yes.
very well. And what else was I going to say? Oh, one thing we didn't hit on sports, the Masters.
Who are you picking?
Oh, you know who I'm picking. Tiger.
Wow. Does he have a chance?
Sure
Are
he
you
does.
kidding me?
Oh, yes, he still has a chance.
He's Tiger.
Yes.
You know what? I hate to say this. I mean, I like Jordan Spieth. I like to watch him.
Yes, he's good too.
Bubba Watson is hitting the ball really well and is walking with a swagger, and that's kind of what that hillbilly golfer needs is a little bit of swagger to get him.
I always thought you were going to pick him. That's your guy. You know, you're completely atypical, and, you know, that's exactly Bubba Watson. The only thing different is he hits it a ton. You only hit it 180.
Oh, stop.
Oh, no, you guys.
Hey, Bubba Watson gained my respect when he won the Masters, and then at 1:30 in the morning, I don't sleep, and I get up, and there's a picture of him with his family at the Waffle House.
Oh, dear.
At like 1 in the morning. I'm like,
Ritz.
eating Ritz with his kids. I'm like,
That's good.
it's
right?
region hillbilly stuff right up our alley.
Hello.
Hello.
Love you guys.
Hey, thanks a lot, Jackie. Talk to you. 219-845-1100. Jackie did touch. And on a moment, I don't know how sad the moment is, but it is certainly can be marked in that my 98-year-old grandmother passed away on Saturday morning at about 6 o'clock in her sleep. So, I mean...
my condolences, Jimmy, and prayers. I mean, even though, you know, she had a full life, it's still grandma. You know, and, you know, it doesn't matter. You go to the places that, you know, you have for your family members, and it's still, you know, it's still part of the family, and it's sad, but as we get older, we're going to try to look at celebrating a good life as opposed to being sad.
It's 4 to 8 on Wednesday at Calumet Park. Gene Potkel, Sokol, Brown, Matson will be laid to rest, and you will see a cast of characters that will be rivaled by none other get-togethers in the region. All the Rexes will be there, and the Deedlows and the Podkols and the Dabrowskis, and it'll be a lot of fun. And my grandma, Billy, will remember that she was just, when we were younger and just trying to get away with things at the house, she was around, and just the stuff that my dad would just not look at and my mom really wouldn't care about. My grandmother had a way of finding them out, and Chris Kleizak and Paul Roberts were two of her favorite targets as miscreant individuals.
Easy targets.
Easy targets. Jimmy washed clothes. That's what Paul Roberts used to say. Oh, my gosh, Jimmy washed clothes is here. My grandma would come by, and my mom was so far behind all the time with 5 kids that she would come and wash clothes.
Wait, she went into that dungeon room you had?
No, she would just she would take my clothes out and wash them.
You mean she went in there?
Oh, she would go in there.
Oh, and with the rake and just kind of just pull them all off the...
So I remember...
And that regular leaf rake, this is that real heavy rake that you have to dig in.
One time,
5 feet tall. Look out!
One time, I had made a visit to a local forest preserve in Illinois by the name of Wampum Woods.
I don't know what you're talking about. You should talk about your grandma and bring up all that kind of stuff.
This is about my grandma.
I mean, you can't do that. I heard that earlier. That's not kind of how you pray, you know, respect.
Oh, my grandma liked to party more than anybody I know. But this one time, I had gone to Wampum, and I had laid my jeans on the floor and then gone out and put on another pair. And I came back, and she had washed my jeans. And just by a quirk in the cosmic egg, I had left some stuff in my pockets of my jeans.
Some potpourri?
Some potpourri. And Grandma pulls it out of she didn't notice it until it went into the dryer, and then she brings it out of the dryer, and she's like, what is all this, like grass around all the clothes in the dryer?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyways, one of many stories. But the thing about my grandmother was she could party and hold her liquor and just sit for amazing amount of times.
Did she smoke?
She smoked, and she just knew she loved going over here to Freddie's when Freddie Matson owned it, and she was. Every time I saw her, she wanted me to drink whiskey. I'd go over and see her 1:30 in the afternoon on a Sunday. Come on, have a glass of whiskey with me. I'm like, really? Great. Here, I got to have one. Alexis, you got to drive home. I'm drunk from my grandma. My grandma's just sitting there smoking her cigarette. What are you? Well, how's that going for you, huh? I'm like, I don't like the single malt stuff, Grandma. It really kind of affects
Glass
me.
of booze.
A glass of booze in the afternoon. Why not?
That's region, baby.
I asked her one time.
It kind of puts everything in perspective.
I asked her, I was like, Grandma, what's the key here? And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, what do you eat? She goes, I eat Strachan Van Til's coffee cake in the morning. What do you have for lunch? Oh, I don't know. I like to have a cigarette and a bowl of soup. There wasn't any specific healthy things going on, but she made it to 98. So anyways, that's on Wednesday, and if you want to call in, 219-845-1100. You want to talk to one of the goofiest guys in the region?
There's a bunch. Which one?
You know what? There's a number of goofy guys in the region, but if you had to have a top 5 list, I believe that MX would be on that list, and he's on local 599 phone line right now. MX, how are you? Don't do that.
Now that's part of the bit, man.
I know that's funny, but whatever. Go ahead.
Are you goofy, MX?
Coke plant.
Are you?
1983.
There you go.
But condolences to you and your family over the loss of your grandmother.
Yeah, thank you.
And something, Billy Baker, we could have changed history at one time.
Still can.
Well, let's go back to 1986 where JED was at Kevin and Keith's graduation party, and somebody was acting up. So we were going to tie him up and duct tape him and have some fun with him. And Uncle Carl said no. Guess who that person was? Look to your right. Jim D'Lo.
Hey, good luck with that.
We were going to tie you up.
Good luck with that, MX.
What?
Good luck with that, by the way.
Tough guy.
Tough guy.
There was a bunch of motocrossers. You might be the toughest guy in Munster, but we had the toughest guys in Indiana. So I think we had to tie you up and maybe make you do shots that you didn't want to do. But don't forget to give the picture of Kevin and Keith at Shady Hills that we had taken in 1979 when they just started racing. I gave you that picture, and when you see Kevin and Keith, give them that motocross picture.
I'll describe the photo. It is my twin cousins, first cousins, and they are Kevin and Keith Brown, and they went to Lake Central. Anybody in the wrestler community will remember them. And they are sitting in the front row of this motocross race. And it's a great photo because 15 feet in the air is MX. And my little nephew or my little cousins are just looking at him in awe. And you would never think that MX could ride a motorcycle that jumped that high in the air. And second of all, that he could land it. And he certainly did. It's actually a really cool shot.
Yeah, and you know what? Kevin and Keith became very, very fast in the motocross world. And Uncle Carl, we call him Uncle Charlie, said they didn't know who would take first or second. He asked me, what do I tell them? Because they were always 1-2. I said, I just shrugged my shoulders. I said, you handle that. But, April Fool's was yesterday, and Ryan said he's gonna have a date and not watch the basketball game. I gotta go.
See you. Bye. Man, Ryan, he just threw you under the bus. Hey, Billy Baker's in here. Baker, is there anything special you'd like to talk about for the next 23 minutes, huh?
Well, I mean, we have to talk about a couple of things, Jimmy. It was Easter, so everybody have a happy
Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Did you have ham?
No, I don't eat ham. I haven't had ham.
I didn't ask if you ate it. I asked if you had ham.
Yeah, my wife made a ham.
Okay. So do you always have ham at Easter? I mean, we had it at our house, and I was sitting there with the ham, and I'm cutting on the ham. I'm like, must be the definition of now you're old. When you're the guy in the house that has to cut up the ham and do all of that kind of stuff, I'm like going, really? So I'm cutting up the ham, and I'm like going, so then I actually had to go through the whole process. You know, my dad's sitting over there. He's not getting up, so that's okay. You know, he did it. I go, that's kind of how you pass the torch. So I tried to get, Alex was home from Ball State, so I was getting him over here. He had nothing to do with it. I go, come over here, look at this thing. He goes, no.
I'm not touching that thing.
What's all that stuff?
I'm not touching that. Is that cooked? So you had the family over.
It was good. So, you know, it's Easter, you know, snowing in Easter and doing all that. So we talk about that, and it's Final Four. And I was driving around on Saturday. I was listening to The Drive, you know, because it's all about the classic rock. Did you hear what they did over the weekend? I thought it was a great bit. They had the Vinyl 4 weekend. So they were playing vinyl 4 in a row from each of the artists with the scratchy music in the back. It was outstanding. So I thought if anything else, you should at least get that underlying track that has the, you know, album at the end, that it wouldn't lift off by itself. It just kept going over with the scratch. You could have that, underline that, and then have your show be on vinyl.
You know, Baker, once in a while you come up with a good idea. He's Bill Baker.
Or your Deadhead show with, what's his name from Whiting?
Lane Paradis.
Yeah, there you go. Because, you know, I mean, a Dead show isn't going to be right unless it's on a 33 1/3, right?
You know, if you get what he's talking about, if you guys like the Grateful Dead, go to thisisdeadair.com. That's our podcast. And we do that. And there's a little bit of momentum for it. But most of those tapes are now just digital tapes. Because we do live shows that were originally mostly recorded on cassettes or on DAT recorders, or, you know, I guess it would all have been just cassettes. And we don't, you know, Lane doesn't like to play albums. He only likes live shows. So we never get to play the albums. But remember when I used to play all that vinyl?
Yeah, you love that.
I love that, but it's so hard. I mean, it's so much easier to click, and it just plays. And I would put it on, and then I'm dropping them, and then people are like, hey, don't touch the vinyl. And I'm like, forget it. I'm done with that. And then it took up so much room in here to have the turntable that everybody was
you would stop. I mean, there was years with that. I'm just give it a break. So what do you just want, scratchy music that clicks all the time? You don't understand, Billy. Vinyl is it.
Let's see, is that Bill online too? Let's see how Bill's been doing. Hey, Bill.
It's all about vinyl, Bill.
Speaking of basketball, did you see some fundamental basketball determination for the Notre Dame women last night?
You know, I don't know how Notre Dame won. That was a huge win last night against Mississippi State. If you guys watched that final shot, I can't say her last name, Agabolali. And but the real win was how they came back and beat Connecticut the other day.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Well, they did it with the leadership of Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I mean, it was...
I mean, they're going to get rid of him. He had nothing to do with it. And by the way, you're going to be a national hit, Jed. You're going to be a national celebrity. I met Greg Pence, the brother of the vice president, Thursday night. He loves it. It's going to go viral. You're going to be famous.
Okay, hold on a second. Is that this? Is it still in here? Your latest? Are you talking about your latest?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that was his fundraiser for questions. I stood up and I said, "How in the world did a Republican like you get into Lake County, Indiana?"
All right, we're going to play your song here in just a little bit. It's called "In Respect of the Fallen."
Hey, the cops are here to take you away finally, Debo.
Back to Benghazi. And, you know, I might make a couple of nickels, too. You know, a poor lawyer like me in downtown Hammond could use them, and I can afford, you know. Jed, you were behind it all.
I
insisted that I buy more advertising.
There you go. I'm pretty
You're
much.
a co-conspirator.
It's called Back to Benghazi Ballad, not a movie. And we'll play a little bit of that in a little bit.
Okay.
All right, Bill, thanks a lot. Congratulations on Notre Dame yesterday. All right, that is Sheriff Oscar Martinez right there.
Oh, he's not here to take you away?
You know, I knew it was time to
so
take a
70s.
break. That is so 70s.
Put your CP30 or
Hey,
whatever.
why don't we
on
do
and go,
this?
Hey.
So I was making a joke on Thursday morning that I had a bit going that I had gone to Illinois because I have a card.
Bit?
I have a card now, and so I went over to Illinois and did it legally, and I came here. 10 minutes later, Purdue Northwest Police parked outside my door here. And I'm like, it's just a joke. It's a bit. It's just to show the laws aren't even. You know, I mean, I do things, and then so they just sat there and they looked at me.
When's the
Hour
last time-
later,
I mean, go ahead.
hour later, Lake County Sheriff's car is sitting out there. I'm like, what in the heck's going on? And then after the show, they handed me a piece of paper. And I'm like, oh, my God, I'm literally just making jokes, okay? And no, it was that the Lake County FOP had...
fundraiser.
Had endorsed Oscar Martinez, who's sitting out there, and he's paying for the show at 8:05. So, I you know what? I said after that, I go, I'm not working Friday. I'm paranoid. I'm tired. And I did my marketing final on Thursday. So you and I can meet. Baker's always texting me. He's like, hey, man, let's meet for one. And I'm like, I'm working on my MBA, dude. I got to go to class. So that.
So did you learn anything that I hadn't told you about like 12, 13 years ago?
You know what? Why do you got to put it that way? That's such a loaded question. Put it this way. I'm learning that I've pretty much run this company not in the most efficient manner. Put it that way. And
it always takes 10 years. Billy, don't you understand? It's not going to happen until it's my decision. Gotta go.
I didn't realize this, and Corellis used to talk to me about this. He's like, you can work more by working less.
Absolutely. Smarter,
like,
not
what
harder.
What are you talking about? And he's like, I'm telling you, man, you're doing too many of the little or top things. Pay someone for those, and then you need to concentrate on like.
That's
big
when you shut
ticket
down,
items.
right? With the pay somebody for it.
I heard as soon as I heard pay, I'm like, well, why would I pay
like
someone?
Experience. I mean, a lot of experience around here. I mean.
Even my wife and Corellis one time were like, oh, we're talking, and I got to go. I got to go fix the machine down at the station. And they're like, well, why are you doing that? Well, I'm the only one who knows how to fix it. I save a lot of money by fixing all
I'm
the
sure
stuff
you do,
myself.
Jimmy.
But it's
cutting
not,
your own grass. It's good.
Yeah, but it's not efficient.
Yeah. And by the way, you still have the 58 at 58 on the hour. You still have that silence because I listened to it today, right in the middle of the bit with the guy that never lived in the region that writes for the Times. Went silent again.
What do you got against him?
Nothing.
Dan Carton. All right, let's take some phone calls. 219-845-1100. Billy Baker's here. Let's talk to Vin.
Election season, by the way.
Hey, Vin, what's up, man?
Hey, Jim, how you doing? Sandy and I want to wish our condolences for your grandmother.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I know you were telling good stories and everything, so I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, my grandma used to work over here at Rosalie's in Woodmar for many years, and a lot of people knew her. Bought homecoming dresses off of her, and she just had that kind of big personality. But thank you so much. And just if anybody's joining us, my 98-year-old grandmother, if you're a longtime listener or whatever, you know who she is. She passed away on Saturday morning in her sleep. Wednesday from 4 to 8 at Calumet Park for visitation. So what's up, Vinny?
Well, hockey season's winding down. We lost yesterday 3-1 against the Washington Capitals. So they played a really good game. Then now with the playoffs coming up and everything, it's going to be a tough test for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And baseball season started, and we're excited about that. And spring has arrived, even though it doesn't feel like spring, but, better days are ahead.
Spring has arrived. Hey, Vin, I got to take issue with that.
And better days are ahead.
April 18th is the next time it's going to get to 60 degrees. May 1st is your first 70-degree day. We got some cold baseball ahead of us, Vinny.
Yeah, they do, but, I was watching the first game of the Pirate game yesterday, and at 36-degree weather, and these guys come in from, Florida, playing 80, 90, and their bodies just got to get used to it. And, it's just, it's just one of those, games that, they have to play through.
You got it, Vin. All right, man. We'll get out and enjoy the cold. How's that feel? Hey, the Cubs and the Sox coming into town. It'll be chilly, but you know what?
Chicago.
What are you going to do about it? All right, hey, Vin, I do have one question. How do you feel about this new ice rink coming to Hammond?
You know what, Jim? Here's the thing. I don't skate. I played a lot of deck hockey in Pittsburgh, and I think it's great. This is one thing that, maybe we can, they can get a youth hockey going. Hopefully, maybe, the Chicago Blackhawks would, maybe, help in a certain way, bring some youth hockey here in Northwest Indiana. And, I'm hoping, somebody can reach out to the Chicago Blackhawks and, trying to get the youth involved more with hockey, especially here in Hammond.
All right, man. Good idea. Thanks a lot, Vinny. Hey, let's go to Lori on line 3. Lori, you're on with Billy Baker and me. What's up?
Hi, Jack. Good morning. Hi, Billy. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, tell your father hello from me. I look for him like on Tuesday and Wednesdays, but I don't see him too much anymore in Highland. So
I'll do that, Lori. Thank you.
Does he walk around the track?
No, he goes
well,
and
my
helps
husband
my
actually
uncle.
works. He works across the street. My husband works at a paint store in Highland, and they're not a sponsor. But anyway, I would bring him lunch on Wednesday, and that's when I met Mr. Baker one day. So we kind of ran into each other.
What'd you think of him, huh?
Oh, he's awesome. He's funny. He's really fun. I like him. He's a nice guy.
No, but what was your impression of him? Does he look like an old East Chicago guy?
Oh, no, I didn't even know really he was from that, at the time. He looked like a business guy because he works across the street, and he was dressed real nice. And actually, I kind of detained him a little bit. He had a dental appointment that day, but everything worked out good, so.
He's not an East Chicago guy, Jimmy. He's from the harbor.
Yeah, and so is my friend, the Turk, Craig. He's from the harbor. He still lives in the harbor. He'll never move away. So I tried to get him to move to Maryville, and he said, no, I'm going to live in the harbor. I'll die in the harbor. I was born in the harbor, so.
So wait a second. Let's get a ruling on this. I said that Mr. Baker was an old East Chicago guy, and Baker corrected me to tell me that he was from the harbor. Am I out of line by saying that he's from his Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My friend Craig, he's like, I'm not from East Chicago. I'm from the harbor. Oh, yeah, there is a difference.
Absolutely. It's all about the viaduct, baby. This is the only place outside of old ancient Rome where there's a viaduct.
And I told my friend, well, hey, your school got torn down, EC Washington. Your church, St. Francis, got torn down. And I said, doesn't that tell you something?
It tells you that I don't like when people do that. Baker does that all the time, and so do a lot of other people. They delineate between the harbor and the city of East Chicago. That's like saying, hey, you grew up in Hammond, right? No, I grew up in Hessville. Well,
that's exactly what it's like.
Oh, stop, will you? Anyways, what's up, Lori?
I want to give you my condolences for your grandmother. I know she lived a good life, and my mother, as you know, she just passed away in December. She was 93, but even though people are in their 90s, you still love them if they, are there. I mean, even if they have dementia or whatever, which my mother didn't, thank God. And I don't know if your grandmother did at that age, but still, she's still a living human being, and lots of special memories with her. And I wanted to give you my condolences from me and my husband. So.
Hey, thank you so much, and I appreciate that.
You're
right.
You're
98 years, a life well lived. Thanks a lot, Lori. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a great day, gentlemen. Thanks. Bye-bye.
7:53 in the Calumet region. He's Bill Baker. I'm Jim Dealer. We got to pay a bill. We'll be right back.
Everything Italian. That's what you get at Giuseppe's Restaurant in Cherville.
Hi, this is Joe from Giuseppe's Everything Italian. Here today to let our friends and listeners to WJOB know about the few things that we have added. We offer catering now, catering for your party, family event, or even for businesses. Just give us a call at Giuseppe's at 322-0011 and ask for Joe. Thank you.
Giuseppe's Everything Italian is located at 1000 Eagle Ridge Drive in Cherville, just north of the Showplace Theaters, 219-322-0011, or visit Giuseppe'sPizza.net.
Looking to advance your career? Earn a master's degree in technology online in just 18 months from Purdue University Northwest. Our graduates tell us their master's degree in technology, leadership, and management results in promotion and higher pay. Call Purdue Northwest at 219-989-2966. That's 219-989-2966 to get ahead today.
Theo's Steak and Seafood sets the standard of fine dining excellence. Delicious USDA prime meats and steaks, along with the freshest seafood in the area. Celebrate your special event with friends, family, and associates in our private dining room that can seat up to 125 people. For information, call 838-8000 or theoshighland.com. Also visit our other restaurants, Prime Steakhouse, Umi Sushi and Lounge in Crown Point, and Ted's Family Restaurant in Calumet City.
Hey guys, what's going on? It is 7:54 in the Calumet region. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. The Bishop Ford's a little bit tight from 111th on up to about, it's just tight through the merge area. So I don't know how tight, but you're going to have a little bit of stoppage there. Is it enough to not pay the money? I don't know. It's kind of right in Fair to Midland there. Skyway, Toll Road, Borman, I-65, US 30, Klein Avenue are all moving along pretty well. And in terms of the sponsorship of that, that's Napleton River Oaks Honda. Taking a look at weather, it's beautiful out. If you look out to the east, not a cloud in the sky.
It's 25.
But it is very cold. It is 22 degrees here at the Strachan Van Til Studios on the campus of Purdue Northwest.
Really?
Isn't it cold?
It is. I mean, this is the time of year you're like going, all right, I've had it.
You know what? I have been having that same feeling, man. Like walking out and just going, I can't stand this. And I'm like, Alexa, I want to spend 10 days in Key West next year, not just 6. Like
how about go twice? And then, there you go. And then that makes it just 10 days. It's too long. But
but you get cheaper.
2 4s are nice.
Yeah, but it's hard to get there.
Yeah. Well, maybe somewhere else.
It doesn't work that way anymore. We just go to the same place every time, and I love it.
Eat the same food, drink the same beer. You okay there?
I know where to go.
You got a little schmutz on your face. Okay, MX.
Hey, wait. Let me do my MX imitation.
Don't.
You guys have anything you want to talk about?
How could you be serious with this two going like this? I mean, it's not even.
I know the sheriff's over there's like, I paid to follow these guys.
Yeah, well, it gets a couple of listeners at least. Let's talk a little bit about the fact that it's going into election season, Jimmy. I know you don't like to talk about that with me, but I would, miss when I listen to your radio station. I have to listen to all this stuff, and nobody talks about moving forward. Here's all the things that we did, and here's all the things that we've done. How about what happens moving forward? And let's talk about the money. How about the budgets? Are we being efficient with the dollars? Are we doing the things that need to be done? Because I think you're going to see again going into this election cycle, you're going to get lucky to have 15, 16% turnout again. And, this is, since you've had the radio station, how many years now? 15 something? I mean, it's the same over and over again under the premise that nothing ever is going to change. I mean, when only 15% show up, does that mean they just gave up? And how come people give up? I mean,
I'm going to take a line from the Big Lebowski. I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. What'd you say?
We'll call 845-1100 because you know what? Really, nobody cares what Didelo's opinion is.
Well, you know what happens, Baker?
I mean,
I thought about this, and
no, you didn't.
I didn't think about the actual races and stuff. It's like Kuziak.
No.
It's like you or Kuziak. These guys know that, like, when we're sitting out and they start to talk to me about politics, elections, I'm like, that's just.
But that's business for you, and that's why. But you still live here like the rest of us. You still write the checks, and it's still part of trying to make it a better place to live moving forward. And this is the time. I mean, look at you. You got gray hair. I got gray hair. It's starting to get to the point where this is it, And, yeah, those are the things that have to happen from the standpoint of going, what are you going to do with your time?
Well,
and
here's the thing.
Tell stories about 1978?
One of the things that I notice in this is that, like, going into this season, I know people think, oh, you're going to get a bunch of money out of this.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work that way at the local level. There's two reasons. First of all, I have to sell it at the lowest rate that we sell.
Yeah.
And so, all right, so all the politicians that want to buy, they come in and they get the best rate we can offer. And that's just how the law is, okay? And then the second thing is, from a business standpoint, we don't put on any major campaigns to bring in major advertisers during April, because when the people buy the advertising, they have to play during these times, and sometimes they'll squeeze out new people. We've done it before where we brought in big new advertisers during the political season, so we just have to reserve that stuff. So I think from what's happened over the years is that since there are less and less people voting in Lake County, each voter is more valuable. And then since each voter is more valuable, you got to make a profile of what kind of person is that person who votes. And typically they're people that read the paper and listen to WJOB.
And probably work for the government.
No, I mean, yeah, or have something to do, or have lived here a while.
It's just the same stuff, Jimmy. I mean, the demographic's not that hard to pick off, because you know what? It's going to be they work for government, they have that kind of a job, or their nephew, cousin, brother's wife has a job with a particular office, and that's who they vote for. And everybody else, I think, is throwing their arms up. They're just worried about paying the NIPSCO bill and, having enough money to, pay cable so they could watch the game tonight and have a beer.
Speaking of which, I got to pay the NIPSCO bill by going into the Community Programming Initiative right now. So our time is over. Thanks for coming in. How was that for a segue?
What a bit. Hey, remember, folks, man, life's too short not to laugh more, all right? Make it a great week.
Tell T-Rod he can't call. We got to go. We'll get him next time. All right, guys. Fair housing. Then on the other side of that, it's going to be Lake County Sheriff Oscar Martinez will by this time, and he'll be up next. See you later, Baker. And for Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, we will start a new Facebook video coming up in about 2 or 3 minutes. All right, see ya.
Save the